Live from Mortgage One Studios. Russ Clark with you, and Dean. It's like a rerun of yesterday.
It is, but better.
But better.
We always are improving here.
Is it improving?
Constant improvement.
I'm glad to hear that. That comes from age experience and wisdom, old age
Yes, all those
experience,
things.
all that kind of stuff, does it?
At least I've noticed that in my life.
I think so. If the learning quits, I guess.
I tell my children and most people that I talk to that this is the best time of life I have ever had.
You know, it's not amazing you have children. It's amazing they still talk to you. But
well, you know,
but no, it's I don't disagree.
I mean,
it would be sad, you know. And have you ever known anybody that still has high school paraphernalia hanging around, and they wear a high school jacket because that was the best years of their life?
You know, I don't think I know.
I remember somebody like that, and
I mean,
when I lived
there's that famous, you know, Married with Children TV show that stressed that. How real it is. I'm sure there's a few.
Oh, it's real. I knew that person in Delaware when I lived there. I was in high school, and it was one of the friends' moms that wanted to be a high school student. Still, that was the best years of her life.
Wow.
My parents used to always tell me, enjoy your high school. It's the best years you'll ever have.
I'm going to say there's a nugget of truth there because you tend not to have any responsibilities.
Right.
And you're not working a 9-to-5 job.
I've been working since I was 14, but not 9 to 5, but I was responsible.
But, I mean, and so unless you can find work that is your passion, and I think most people have difficulty doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Working takes up a large part of your adult life. And unless you're passionate about it, it's not as much fun as when you don't have those responsibilities.
I've always been passionate about every job I've had.
Which is, I think you're blessed.
Well, I think it's, regardless of what it was, unloading trucks on a dock, it was such a new experience.
Challenge.
It was a challenge.
Well, I've had jobs that I hated.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
What'd you do?
We got a job. This was when I was 16 and belonged to a club at the high school. And the manager, the advisor for the club arranged for us to make club money by going out and working on loading chickens into trucks at a chicken farm.
Okay.
Now, the chickens were in a long Quonset hut type building that was about 100 feet across by about 300 feet long.
Yeah.
You loaded the chickens. This was in summertime because we're early summer. I think we're just off school or whatever. And the temperature inside there was probably over 90 degrees. Chicken poop had been drying and collecting on the floor for weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So it created a cloud of chicken poop that you tended to inhale at every breath through the mask that you were given.
Sounds like unhealthy long periods.
We only did it a few times.
Yeah.
And the light was provided by dim red bulbs on the ceiling. This was done at night.
Mm-hmm.
So it was an overall very hellish, uncomfortable atmosphere, very hard physical work for hours at a time.
Yeah.
I hated it.
Yeah, I'm sure you didn't stay long.
Well, we just did it a few times. It's the worst job I've ever had.
You know, I grant you, I probably have some that I didn't like. I can't, they're not top of mind. I couldn't tell you what it was.
Well, I remember that one because it stuck out. It was so bad. And it's not hard for me to name jobs that I dislike because they're so physically demanding.
Well, I worked on the frozen food docks where every truck that backed in had to be hand unloaded, no pallets. Everything had to be handed. It was floor loaded, ordered floor loaded because we had a special system and we couldn't take pallets into our system. So we had to do it.
Okay.
12-hour shifts. And it's 34 degrees on the dock and get ice cream and you get wet, cold, wouldn't allow you extra breaks and everything. I loved the job. In fact, you know, I was getting stronger at the time and they called me Muscle Russell, not because I was strong, but because I smelled like Ben Gay. I was sore. I was sore, man. So I remember working on those docks, and I was so happy to have it and to learn. I'm learning the flow. I'm learning how everything works all the time. I ended up being the foreman by the age of 19. I ran it.
You told me about this.
But the I remember one day specifically, I was unloading ice cream. It was terrible and all that. And I was always in a positive, upbeat mood, always, no matter what.
I think the mental set is very important.
But Bill Webby, we called him Bill Webb, a former wrestler in high school. He had his heyday in high school, was the best years of his life. Obviously, he was miserable after that. But he lectured me. Stop smiling. This is work. If it was enjoyable, they'd call it something else. And that's the guy I ended up one day having a disagreement with him where I ran across the dog, grabbed him, and threw him down on the ground it's one fit of anger I've had. I'm not an angry guy.
No, but this was one of your rare slips from being professional. Right?
Yeah, and I nearly lost my life over. I mean, he was a big boy; he could have hurt me, and it was saved by the forklift driver, Boyd Bronner. But I enjoyed challenges always. What it is, and I doubled the production on the dock.
Well, you did great.
I did those things because I was engaged. I was enjoying it. I wanted it to be the best. I didn't want to just spend time working or get a paycheck. I wanted to learn something. And I think high school was so.
I think there's a difference between working for necessity, where it's important to survival.
Yeah.
And working where you see a sense of accomplishment and the two can overlap.
They overlap because I was out of the house. I was gone. My parents moved. They sold their house and moved when I was 18, 17, 18 after high school. They didn't really like me much and they just left.
And they didn't leave a forwarding address?
They did not.
I'm sorry. It sounds amusing because it's so unusual.
You know how many parents would like to do that, I guess. No, it really did. It was 6 months before I knew where she was. They were in the same town, just across town.
See, my experience is exactly the opposite. My parents were always very considerate, always looking out for me, always looking out for the future. Maybe that's why, I disliked certain jobs that were just extremely uncomfortable and difficult, but it gave me a good spur to improve myself and get into positions where I didn't have to exert a lot of hard physical labor.
But to look back on something and say, God, wow, life was wonderful back then. That was good. I think it's so destroying today, destroying the present, undermining the present. And people tend not to be happy if that's their attitude in life. So stop doing what you're doing and find something else, whatever that is.
I think that for most of humans' existence, the ability to find something you're passionate about was almost zero for most people. The requirements of survival were so intense that they didn't have much in the way of choices.
I would say that we can find something no matter what. I mean,
you can find joy in work.
If hunting it becomes survival.
Well, now there I'm going to say an exception. I think joy in hunting, even though it's difficult, is common. People love
because it's a challenge.
Men particularly,
it's a challenge.
Love to hunt. Yeah. Well, not only is it a challenge, but you have so much you can put into it. So many choices. Yeah. It's so multitudinous. I mean, from planning months in advance to building huge traps that our prehistoric ancestors did to make their lives better. I mean, it's Homo sapiens. I'm going to say that just to differentiate from other human species. And that still goes back several 100,000 years. They were just as smart as we are. They were just as smart.
I've been reading more things like that.
In fact, they probably were smarter because the stupid ones got killed off quickly. Died off.
We don't have any way to interview them for sure. But
we can look at how they acted and what tools they used and how they did things. We're able to discover a significant amount of that. I've just been reading recently about the Clovis culture.
Clovis?
Yeah, it's a very famous prehistoric culture that lasted about 1,000 years, from about 13,000 years ago to about 12,000 years ago, roughly. It's hard to get absolutely precise dates with these things. And they used a relatively large stone spearhead that's distinctive because it is so beautiful and so sharp and so precise, and it's big as a stone head is. I mean, first, the way stone heads go, these are big.
Okay.
I mean, they're not huge. They're like 6 inches long, 4 to 6 inches around in there, maybe a little less at times. But they are specifically crafted, I believe, to kill mammoths. And the Clovis culture was famous because about 12 sites have been found in the U.S. where it's clear they were hunting and killing and eating mammoths. Mammoths are huge creatures, bigger than the elephants are today.
Oh, yeah.
And these Stone Age people lived on them. There was only the site that I was looking at recently, which brought this home to me. They had found a 18-month-old child skeleton in the Clovis site. And because it was in development, they were able, I thought this was magic, but they claimed, and it was persuasive, they used DNA techniques to find what most of the nutrition that child was, where it was getting most nutrition. Of course, at the time, it was still probably a suckling baby at the breast. It's common for up to about 3 years old amongst people that don't have, bottle feeding.
Sure.
And this was the astonishing part. Something like 70% of the food or the nutrition that child was getting was from mammoths. They could differentiate between mammoths and bison and camels and stuff like that.
Well, when the mammoths died out, they didn't have any food source.
Well, they had to adapt, and then they became then we switched over to what's called the Folsom culture. It uses a different kind of stone point. It's smaller, it's lighter.
But these are all extinct offshoots of Homo sapiens.
They're not. No, the cultures are extinct.
Cultures, okay.
The people are not.
All right.
And what was so surprising in this article, and I've been following this for a while. It's not a new controversy, but this genetic or DNA testing to be able to determine what food they were using is very new. But this culture only lasted about 1,000 years. And previously, many scientists thought it was the first culture in the New World. Well, below Canada, shall we say, because there were people in what we call Beringia, which is from Asia to Alaska. There was a land bridge at the time, and it was broader because a lot of the water was tied up in ice, and so there was large area there, and there were people there. But they thought they didn't get down to where the United States is now until about 13,000 years ago. But now we are finding significant evidence, persuasive evidence. And I'm a scientist, and I'm skeptical. Okay.
You're always skeptical.
This evidence is persuasive to me that there were people here in as many as 20,000 or more years ago.
Well,
we know there were plenty of modern humans around 20,000 or more years ago, but the idea they were here in North America.
But before the land bridge.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no. Before the glaciers melted enough that there was a corridor you could come down. Right. Almost certainly they came down the coastline in small boats. Well, we know that people made and had access to small boats thousands of years ago, tens of thousands of years ago. I mean, like, it's the way that we believe they populated Australia, about 30, 40, 50,000. That's a date that has become much more indeterminate as I've studied it. It could have been 30,000 years ago, could have been 60,000 years ago, but we don't know for certain. In Australia, that's what I'm talking about. But here in the Americas, human activity is much more recent, but we pushed it back now to about 20,000 years. Now, my point is, they didn't develop this super weapon, the Clovis point, until about 13,000 years ago.
Okay.
And then once they developed it, basically the megafauna disappeared. We killed them off.
We did. I never heard that before, why they went extinct, but yeah, that's probably true.
And it's not just, I mean, there were other things going on. The climate was changing, as it always is.
I think they'll make a comeback.
We're trying to recreate mammoths.
Yes, and clone them.
And it looks like it could succeed. They're going to use modern elephants as as a, like a
Incubator.
incubator.
Yeah.
A parent, and they're using DNA from original mammoths that they found frozen in the permafrost
Right.
up in the Arctic.
Yeah, in great shape. And we got off on all that on enjoying your work.
Right, because I said ancient peoples were as smart as us. Now,
You think
there
so?
aren't many of us. I mean, think of what it takes to hunt and kill mammoths,
Yeah.
which are bigger than elephants, with sticks and stones.
I think I'd enjoy it.
I think they did.
Yeah,
I think they did.
I
And
think
that was what we got off about
But
hunting.
that's the whole thing. We should enjoy what you're doing. I think to not enjoy what you're doing is a downward spiral. You're not going to survive.
My brother has not an opposite. I wouldn't say it's an opposite viewpoint, but he says this: no matter how much you love what you do, eventually it becomes a job.
Correct. I don't disagree with that.
Because you have up days and down days.
Sure. Well, yes, and
but now, and Thomas Jefferson is supposed to have said this, and I'm probably going to bungle the quote: "The greatest freedom of all is financial freedom."
I never heard that from him, but that's cool.
And I find there's a lot of truth in it.
Yeah.
Because when you can do whatever you want, you tend to do your passion.
No.
No, you don't think so?
No, I don't. I know too many people that don't. They're passionate unless it's sitting down in a rocking chair in front of a TV once they retire.
All right. I admit I'm an optimist, and
I'm an optimist too.
When I retired,
but I
started doing what I wanted to do. I was driven.
But you were a strange individual.
Okay. I'll accept that.
And then,
pink monkey.
I've known too many people in my family that couldn't wait to retire, and as soon as they did, they sat down, did nothing.
I've also known people who retired. I always thought, what's the point of retiring when you're making a very good money, like out of YPG, and then going to work at Walmart as a greeter?
Because they got to stay busy. If you're not
interactive,
right, but
why not stay in a job you're expert at? The company, I mean, the world needs your expertise.
Because somewhere we read that's the retirement age, so we say okay, and that's unfortunate. But we picked 65 in the 1930s when we started the Social Security, and people look at that and they say that, well, that's the time I need to wind down.
Here's another thing. I think there's a huge difference between being your own boss and working for somebody else.
Yeah, I've been both.
Yeah, well, I have too. And I love working for myself much better.
But we all answer to somebody.
Even working there's for yourself. Always something, yes. Yeah.
No matter what.
Because then you have a payroll to meet. You have to...
or you have an editor you got to agree.
Well, that's right. I mean, all these things, even though I'm secure enough with retirement that I don't have to get the money from writing. Don't tell my editor that. I should probably tell him I need more. Well. But anyway, but that is so liberating not to have to worry about merely surviving.
Right. And depending on what you want to do. And a lot of people, their aspirations are bigger than their financial means. And
I've never had that problem.
No? Well, you're conservative with money and conservative.
I early on, I adopted the idea that you can choose what you feel your needs are.
Sure.
I mean, obviously you have to eat, you have to have shelter. Yeah.
Sure.
But I can be happy in a very small space.
Me too.
And I just don't need a lot of material comforts. I don't feel the need to exert status through a big new car, for example, or a motorboat or something.
But I've done all that. I've done it all. I mean, I had a 5,000 square foot house, 2 airplanes,
I remember the house. It was a nice house.
Yeah, it was. I enjoyed it. But it didn't define me.
Right.
And if it does, you're in trouble. That's why.
But a lot of people get caught up in what I call the status trap.
Yeah.
They define themselves through their status among other people. Mm-hmm. And frankly, status is an important thing for humans generally. We like to have status. The genius of the United States system is that you can have low status somewhere, and then in your same social structure, you've got very high status somewhere else. So you can fulfill all the roles in between.
Okay.
So you could be in your church, you're a very high status individual. but at work you're just an ordinary employee.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you got to be happy with self.
Right. But what
With
I'm saying
self. It
is
doesn't matter.
you can satisfy the status scratch mirror itch very many ways in the United States where it's much harder to do in other countries.
I agree with all that, but why do you need it?
I just find that it is a human characteristic.
Probably.
I mean, I'm not trying to tread on your toes
No,
here,
I'm not disagreeing with
but
you.
you get high status from this show.
Probably, and in some cases. It's not what I live for. I live for the show.
And
really?
that gives you high status.
Well, yeah.
I understand that. And I've always said I thought that the idea of celebrity, of fame, is a fake thing. It's a bad thing. It's once people get it and then they say, "Oh, I wish I didn't have it."
That's true. I've seen that.
And yet in our culture, we have elevated, or the television, or whatever you want to say, the people who have tried to drive the culture have elevated fame to a very high pinnacle of desirability. I've always thought it was nuts. Why would I want to be so famous that I couldn't eat out at a restaurant without people bugging me?
Right.
Or that I have to have security 24/7 because somebody wants to get after my, kids to get after me.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you and I need to worry about that. But
but what's happened is that as a writer, I have celebrity within a very small circle that I value. And so it's kind of the best of all worlds. I have not celebrity, I guess, but celebrity.
Yeah. Well, you've got
in a small, well-defined group of professionals that I admire.
Sure, you do. I mean, in your writing and your appearances here, all that. You're seen as a serious investigator, a serious scientist, and all those.
Yeah, I mean, I think so.
But that's not what makes you tick.
No, it doesn't. Actually, I was driven to the passion. Basically, I couldn't abide and do nothing and see the country go to hell.
I had a good friend, Jay Walker. I don't know if you remember Jay Walker with KTTI.
The name sounds familiar.
Waking Up with Walker was his morning show on KTTI. Wonderful guy. Loved him. He helped me a lot in the industry. When we'd go out together sometimes, just for an errand or something, he had to make sure the person recognized him.
Really?
Oh, I remember.
It just seems odd.
I remember at a laundromat, Matt. He had a radio voice. For me, I just talk. I'm the same in radio as I am in a grocery store.
Sure.
It doesn't matter. In fact, people comment on that. You sound just like you do on the radio. I said, well, good. That's good. But Jay Walker would change his voice when we went in so that he would sound like his Walker in the morning, something like that, and if somebody doesn't recognize that, I bet you like to listen to country music, or he would just start dropping these hints or something. He needed it. He needed it.
There are a lot of people do.
Now, it doesn't make him a bad guy.
No,
I mean, he's a wonderful guy, and he's a great community man, and he's living in Oregon now. I think he's out of it, but he's gone. But it struck me at the time that I don't really like that. I mean, I don't need it. I don't mind it if somebody comes up to me and says thank you or something like that. It's always always positive. It's always okay.
I think there is a strong streak of that need in human nature
to be noticed.
For the status, what I call status.
Okay.
To be at a higher level of status.
Well,
and I think it's strong in politicians.
Yeah, well, they have to be. I mean, they have to be type A's. They have to be the Trumpian, egotistical. You got to feel good about yourself. You do.
Well, or
to be on that job.
You have this need to have other people validate you because you don't feel good about yourself.
That's scary.
I mean, I see that.
That's scary.
It is. And you see that in a lot of people who feel the need to exert power over others.
Right.
Because exerting the power tells them I am more important than the other is.
Yeah.
And it also says, see, I'm a.
But those are the guys who get caught up with it, ended up getting themselves in trouble.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Or it's where you get dictators from, kind of, and you get megalomaniacs, and you get people who commit horrible atrocities.
But I'm going to agree with you on this viewpoint, and I've studied a little bit about just societies and stuff. But in society, a lot of it is procreation is what we're looking for somehow, either subconsciously.
Oh
or
yeah, I
unconsciously.
think
It's
absolutely
procreation.
correct. And status is one way you get
Right.
access to better or different mates.
For a woman, marrying somebody with power,
Yes,
and that power can be physical. It can be a power in politics. It could be power. It could be the chief's son,
sure, or the
And-
chief.
or the chief, and then babies are protected. Your lifestyle is
Yes,
protected. Your
absolutely correct.
home is protected.
All of that is correct.
And it goes back to just our way we formed, the way we grew up.
Well, that's right.
But
I
it
mean,
still exists to this day.
absolutely.
And
No question.
and-
What was that quote from Kissinger? Power is a tremendous aphrodisiac.
yeah,
Something like that.
well, and for women, looking for men is the power. For men looking for women, procreation. You want somebody that looks healthy,
Healthy and fertile,
fertile,
and
people
capable of producing children.
So in modern times, since we have all these opportunities for enhancements of physical appearance, it's always something that's going to make us look more, or for women would be more fertile, more feminine, more attractive. And attractiveness starts with somebody that's of childbearing and would actually make a good wife, good children.
Yeah, I
Those
think
kind of
so.
things.
I'm trying
And-
to think of what book I read that said all that same stuff.
But every culture is different. Chinese, they really small feet were very attractive because women have small feet, so they bind them. And in
Oh,
African
yeah.
countries, long necks were an attribute of femininity, so African tribes stretched their necks out.
yeah,
In America, a large breast, so of course plastic surgeons,
yeah, you're right. All
lots
that
of
is true.
retired or big lips.
Yeah,
I'm
thinking
whatever that
of the
is.
African tribes that put rings in their lips.
Yeah, and makeup is when a woman's aroused, cheeks blush and all that kind of stuff. So makeup simulates that.
Right.
It's to be more attractive. I don't think it's
I think there's a competition among women
yes.
for men,
Yeah.
and there's a competition among men for women.
Yeah, but we both look for different attributes in each other.
Yes, exactly so.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
And
the
that
old,
goes back
the
to
old- the old
tribalism.
joke. Everybody will recognize this. What does that beautiful woman see in that that older fat guy she's with on
A
the
wallet.
beach? Yeah, the size of the wallet.
Absolutely. But that's not unnatural.
No, it's real. It's real. I mean, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
people. You can see this in the Epstein case.
Yeah.
If you read history, rich, powerful men have always had access to young, beautiful women.
Yeah.
Always.
Yes. And when when I got remarried, and I know Helen's not listening, but
Yeah, you can't count on that. And the show is recorded.
no, but someone I don't know who it was. I told somebody, I'm remarried. My wife left me 9 years ago or so, but I'm remarried, and they go, well, I'm assuming she's 35 or something like that. And I was like, no, she understands the the music I know and the times I know.
Yeah.
I would not be
Comfortable.
oh no. I mean,
I don't think you'd be as comfortable.
well, no, and it wouldn't be we couldn't sit down and have conversations.
Right. You've got different social milieu that
Yes.
you
And that's not
grew up in.
It's not universal, but
No,
I'm talking
it's
about
not.
in most cases, God bless those men that marry somebody 20, 30 years younger than them. But and I know people have done that, and they're absolutely a great couple.
Yeah.
But for me, I didn't want them to have to explain who Grand Funk Railroad was.
But I would say that today there's far less emphasis on having children. And that's one of the reasons
That's a fact.
that that older men are not as attractive to younger women. I mean, because a lot of successful men don't want more children.
No.
I mean, and I think that's not necessarily good. I mean, it's one of the ways that we gradually improve the race. Successful people produce more kids. That's been the case for tens of thousands of years.
Now it's the opposite.
Now it's the opposite,
Yeah.
and that's a disturbing trend.
And it's our fault.
Well, we're
We
an
reward
extremely affluent society.
Well, and we reward that behavior. I mean, if somebody is on government assistance,
no, I would place it differently.
What?
I wouldn't say we reward the behavior of not having kids. We've glorified it.
I say we reward the behavior of having them, and when you can't afford them.
Oh yeah, okay, I totally agree with that.
We reward. I mean, if you're on assistance, first thing you got to do is make sure you're not married, because that may put you out of
right. Those are policies that were put in place back in the 60s, I think.
And then the more kids you have, the multiplication factor, the more income.
And that was corrected in the 90s under with Newt Gingrich, and then destroyed with Obama.
Doesn't the military do something similar though? I think my dad, when he was in the military, they got paid a base pay plus so much for spouses or something.
Right.
Didn't they get a raise for spouses?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of ridiculous.
No, I think it's absolutely
Socialist.
justified. We want people in the military with stable families.
Correct. But I think the pay should just be the pay for the job. The private enterprise doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't.
We pay for the job.
I'll tell you, there's the old joke. The U.S. is a great society because if you want to run a business, there's the free market. If you want socialism, there's the civil service. And if you want communism, there's the military.
That's horrible.
There's a lot of truth in it. The military is a centrally planned, top-down run system.
It is, and I think it has to be.
It can work that way because it's powered, it's paid for by all the taxpayers for a specific purpose.
But it has to be that way. No one's going to say, "Okay, we're thinking about charging this hill. Let's take a vote."
I don't know. That commonly happened in tribal societies. Actually,
Did it?
Oh yeah.
Well,
they'd have war leaders. They would elect the war leaders.
Those societies are gone.
They're around a lot. We're fighting them in a lot of places in the world. A lot of Islamist societies are basically tribal societies, Islamic societies.
Yeah. Well, like Iran.
I think Iran is and it isn't. It's a more sophisticated than many of the other Islamic.
How is Saudi Arabia differently? And I don't know. But Saudi Arabia seems to be
they are different. I mean,
a modern country.
Iran is basically the modern extension of the Persian Empire, which is not Arabs. And then you have Saudi Arabia is very clearly Arab derived.
Yeah, well, but the leadership in Iran's not Persian, is it?
Are we talking genetically or culturally?
I think culturally. Yeah.
I think that's a tough one.
And again, I only have questions for these. I don't, I've listened to some lectures on it, but I don't know. But Saudi Arabia is a solid, well-financed, smart investment.
Oh yeah,
and they're Muslim, but that they're not going to start bombing everyone's children.
There was a report during the Crusades of an American, not American. I guess I'm just saying American is good in my head. I think he is French. I'm not 100% sure. It was he became a saint because of his accomplishments and miracles and such. And in the middle of basically a long drawn out siege, he went to the Muslim leader, Caliph, I guess, and said, "You're all wrong. Christianity is right. You guys are wrong." And they beat him a bit, but they let him go. They didn't kill him. And the leader in private is said to have told him that, yeah, you guys are right, but I can't say it because all the people will kill me.
I'm calling Carl. Carl called me 3 times. I didn't pay attention to my phone. I was talking to you. Phone lines are open,
Good morning, Russ.
Well, Carl, what are you up to, sir?
Well, playing phone tag with you.
Yeah, I didn't have my phone where it was supposed to be, so I didn't see it ring. What's happening?
No, well, as a Yuma resident for a long time, your area where you need those pumps,
Yes,
that should be on a city priority
it is.
because the city allowed the builders to build houses down there with not making sure they brought them up off of the ground far enough to take care of the water table.
And
So-
and I'll tell you, I've talked to Madeline Coyle. Madeline Coyle now works inside the city, and she's a grant writer, and she actually wrote a
Yeah.
grant for that purpose to fix that specific neighborhood. The grant was approved. The money's been sent, and they're supposed to be starting on that shortly. I need to call her and find out what's the holdup. What's my start date?
Yeah,
Because we got a monsoon coming.
yeah, because
Yeah, it's
that is a nice subdivision down there. It's close to town.
yeah.
It's just a good subdivision, but the problem is that's a very low spot and accumulates water.
I have been water high enough to where if I didn't have my raised, off-road vehicle, I would not have gotten out of the driveway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
back in the 30s, that was a golf course.
Right. Well,
And then it turned into just a bunch of brush, and then I think it was one of the companies went in there and built houses. But it's a good place to put houses. But now the city has to step up and say we need to get those pumps in there and get them working, and because it's not good for those people's houses to be flooded like that.
the history of the development, from what I understand, is when they first built it, there were no pumps initially, but they built these big, reservoirs, dug them down and built big reservoirs, and the residents complained that we need some park type area, so they filled them in and made the park areas, and then put these pumps in to pump out the water, and the pumps are inadequate. They were just built too small.
Yeah,
System is not well designed.
that to me goes back to the city. Somebody in the city made a mistake by letting them build houses out there without adequate water drainage.
Right.
Well, you're saying originally they had reservoirs that served the purpose.
But from my understanding,
Yeah.
I don't know the real history if that did it all, but it probably did better than now.
Well,
Yes.
what we see, and just my comment, you see people come into an organization and take control of whatever that aren't aware of the history of things,
Yeah.
and they start making changes without understanding why those things were there.
Maybe.
Yes.
But anyway, we got a grant from Madeline Coyle that's going to put bigger pipes and a better system. See, the pump in front of my house, I got one right in front of the house. It pumps the water to the next pumping station, which takes the water they get plus my water and pump it to the next station, which then pumps it across a few streets to the Walmart area where there's a big reservoir.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got all the water from 3 stations going through one pipe that's 5 inches, and it just won't handle these big downpours.
Oh man,
That's right.
I don't know if
And
I want
that's
to get
what I
into
think.
this.
I'm going to say to our mayor, I think he's strong enough and will help we the people. And he's doing his job. I think he'll make sure that gets done.
The whole development doesn't flood. It's just probably 20% of it. I'm in that 20.
Yeah, well,
I'm in that 20. And I think it probably was better before they built up around it, like when they built up the Catholic high school.
But it doesn't make any difference because that is the lowest spot, and that's where the water's going to go.
Yeah.
Now the city's put in a lot of basins for holding that water. You see, there's a park over there that is big basin to hold that water. The problem in your area, it's the lowest spot in the valley.
Yeah. So
that's where the water goes.
So it's got to be pumped, man.
Now, from my cost benefit ratio, I'd say, what are the costs of the pumps versus the cost of the properties that you're saving?
$5 million is what they're putting into the pumps.
And how much do the properties cost?
You could probably buy that 20% for $5 million.
Okay. Which is the more
Russ,
permanent solution.
yeah, but here's the thing on Russ's house, he knows because he's had to deal with the high content of the water in there because he's already had to redo the floors, the cement.
Exactly. So do you build more in a, I'm just going to paraphrase this, in a flood zone, or do you make the flood zone a place where you let it flood and you don't have residences?
So, and
No,
Dave's
you
not
put a
wrong.
pump.
They could take the lowest point, buy up 6, 7 houses, and dig a big reservoir and let everything flow into it and take care of the problem, probably.
Yeah.
It won't take care of the problem because when you have a real big rain, it's going to flood, and that's where the water goes.
I'm not the engineer that could do it, but I think I would.
I understand.
That's the same problem with a pump.
Yeah, there's always that 100-year flood
Exactly.
that we get every year. Yeah.
Well, or every 50 or 20.
Yeah.
Well, my house gets flooded too.
Oh, it
so
does?
when
Okay.
it rains real, yeah, in parts of it, the way the city put in the block walls and stuff, and
Yeah.
if so much water comes down the hill, well, look what they're doing over there by the park, trying to put the water that runs off.
See, Carl, what I object to is spending $10 million to solve a $200,000 problem.
Well, that's an exaggeration, but you're right. It could probably be done.
Not in your case,
Okay.
but I've seen it in other cases where
Oh, no,
enormous amounts being spent.
But the property is valuable.
Well, sure it is.
You know, and the location is good. So
Yeah. I understand that.
I
but
pay taxes into flood control.
Sure.
Sure.
So those
Well,
taxes could help you relocate to some place that doesn't flood.
I don't disagree with that. That could be an alternative, but it's not the one we've got.
Yeah, I understand. And you've got this. And I noticed you said grant. So this county is being subsidized by the federal government for this.
Which is normal politics, unfortunately.
I'm not saying it isn't.
Yeah.
I just think it's not a great system to get good cost to benefit ratios.
Probably true. And we could turn down every grant in the world, but that means everyone else will sweep them up.
It's the problem. You've got this money coming from the federal government. Every manager in the whole country says, if I don't step up, I'm not going to get my share.
Grant writing is a big part
of
the city. They've got personnel hired just to do it.
Almost every school has the same thing.
Yeah, they do.
You know what? What our government's doing there is what they're doing is they're taking our money and spending it on us.
Yeah.
And what they do in a lot of the Democrat states, they take that money and give it to illegal aliens. So.
Well, or they take our money and then take a good chunk of it for administration and everything and give some of the rest back and say, we're helping you.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that just gets worse over time. And hopefully we're seeing a little bit of a reversal.
We're going to have to reverse it or we go belly up.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think Trump is trying.
Yeah, I think so.
You know what? What in my opinion, what we're seeing with President Trump is we are seeing the art of the deal, and he's proving it to me every day when he's overseas and what he's doing with the Straits of Hormuz.
Right.
He's stepping up.
I'm with you, Carl. I agree.
Yeah, the Democrats don't, man. They've been taking so many shots at him and telling these horrific stories how Iran's winning and we're losing and we're out of money.
I mean, I read that and I'm a skeptical guy.
Yeah.
But I read some of this stuff and it's pure fantasy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's just
what
President
Trump is doing is he's telling these people, we can go have a gunfight or we can go make money. What do you want to do?
You're right, Carl.
He's the business guy. He wants to do business.
That's what it is.
If he had his choice, we're doing business. We're building wealth, not tearing it up.
And Iran's they have been doing terrorism, and we're not going to put up with it anymore. Right.
You can tell that Trump doesn't want to bomb the bridges and buildings. He loves building. He doesn't want to do it.
He doesn't want to have to spend all the money to rebuild all that stuff.
Yeah, he doesn't.
He doesn't want to hurt we the people.
Right.
What he wants to do is change the regime of who's running we the people.
Although that's not his stated objective, I have to put that in there. But I think that will happen very likely.
It'll be
in fact, it's already happening because the regime today is far different than it was.
It's not his objective, but he won't accept anything short. of.
I think you're
So how's,
close.
how's Brazil?
Yeah.
How is Brazil doing? How's Brazil doing now?
I don't know.
I don't think Brazil is doing that great.
No.
They got a communist in charge, and they're trying to revert back to
Okay.
communism, and it's not doing so good.
And
Argentina is doing wonderful.
And Brazil's got a
Yeah.
78-year-old leader that's running for re-election and will win because they control the elections.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Kind of like Putin winning the election.
yeah,
it's
it's kind of like that, right? Whereas you have Milei in Argentina, who ran on a tremendous reform capability. He hopped on stage with a chainsaw saying, "I'm going to cut the bureaucracy down to nothing."
Who's he think he is? Elon Musk?
And he won, and the country is
Yeah.
doing tremendously better under him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, maybe we need more of that in the world.
Yes.
Yeah, but we need a less of what's going on in New York and the world too.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, it's fun to watch though. I mean, they are destroying
Yeah.
themselves as rapidly as they can.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's true.
Y'all have a good day, my friends.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, Carl.
Take care, man. Bye-bye. Yeah, I hope to keep a better eye on my phone. I need to have it right there. Hey, I want to talk about China.
Oh, good.
You know, the Trump's going to be there tomorrow. Today's the 13th, by the way, and I put the 12th on my note on the online. It's not the 12th.
Yeah.
It's the 13th.
Yeah, I know it's
on
13th
the
because
date.
I got an appointment today.
So do I.
Oh,
Cardiologist, follow up to make sure my pacemaker's still working.
well, mine's just an ordinary check to see if you're still healthy. Did you
Same
respond
thing.
properly to treatments? You know?
They want to know if you're alive so they can still bill you. Yeah.
I actually think I like my doctor. He's about my age, and he seems to
God, he should be retired.
Yeah, well, he's not, and he just seems to be an excellent doctor. I'm not going to give out his name because I mean, I could, but I'm not sure he'd want me to. So
I would have done it.
Well, we're different. But anyway, I really he's impressed me as being very professional and knowledgeable.
Then hang on to him. My doctor's a Phoenix doctor. I didn't know that.
Oh,
Dr. Singh, he is a cardiologist. He did the ablation on my heart, which, you know, I was in the gym again yesterday, and I'll tell you, it's just like I'm back to normal.
oh, that's good.
You know, and the follow up today is going to be video.
Oh, interesting.
I don't even have to go in the office, which a big time saver.
Yes, it is.
And there's nothing. You know, it's a check in more than everything. Make sure everything's going okay. See if I have questions.
Well, that's pretty much mine too. Because, and I have to say, I had some what I'd think of as minor issues, and my doctor just said, "You know, we've seen this scan. I think this kind of antibiotic is probably our best choice, and take it, and then we'll see what happens." And it appears to have worked, so that's great.
I can tell you, you've been on the upswing of energy and on the upswing of productivity.
Yeah, about a couple of weeks, I'd say.
Yeah, so you've been working it hard. The my regular cardiologist, I guess I have to have two.
Maybe you should have 3 or 4. Why not half a dozen?
Two's enough for me to keep control of. And this will probably be the last time I talk to Singh.
Okay.
You know, he's done.
Well, you know, you're a very specialized case. You're talking about
ablations are specialized and not.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I want. I mean, I want somebody that's done 1,000 of them, not someone says, "Hey, I always wanted to try that."
Yeah. Well, usually they serve sort of an apprenticeship. You know.
Great. Well, Dr. Claudia Dima is my normal cardiologist, which I'll go see shortly. And I've got some questions for you. You know, now that I have a pacemaker, it's Bluetooth, by the way. The pacemaker.
Yeah, I think you mentioned
it's
that.
on my phone, and I can bring it up on my phone. Now I can't make adjustments.
So does it say?
Yeah.
Don't go near microwave ovens.
No, that's old school stuff.
Okay, that's what I was wondering about because I remember that warning.
Yeah.
Many times.
Well, initial ones would cause a problem, but no, I go through airport security. I can do all of that, and I have a little card I carry because it may set off the device that I'm carrying something concealed.
Right. Sure.
So I can show them that. Now, this tells me it's active. I'm looking at my phone and my thing, which is good. It says 12-year average life battery. You know, battery life is average.
Pretty cool.
But There's been no communication, no automatic transmissions are currently scheduled. So this thing is set up so it can send information directly to my doctor, which is
Fantastic.
which is programmed in here. Her phone numbers and all that kind of stuff is all programmed
Wow.
in, and this thing can call my doctor.
You know, I was just thinking about that the other day and I'm thinking, when do we get to the point where stuff like from my Apple Watch is
Now,
automatically sent to a file that my doctor keeps so that they can look at my heart rate and see, has it been regular? Has it,
and my doctor can even email me back through this.
Well, and the other side, none of this has to be looked at initially by humans.
No.
It could all be run through expert programs.
My question is though, and it's got her phone number here and everything in there. They programmed it before they gave it to me. They programmed all this stuff in. The thing has never been checked out by her though, and she's never signed on to it. So my question is, do I really need this right now? What is this doing for me?
Well, do you need it, or is it working so well there's no need to do anything?
Well, I haven't had any issues, and if I do have an issue, is she going to automatically get a message?
Oh, interesting.
I don't.
Yeah. So
I'm going to ask those questions.
You're saying this thing has been implanted, but it's never been worked, never used?
Well, I'm talking about the app has never been used.
Oh, the app. Okay, that's
the
big
app's
difference.
never been used. I'm sure the device has been.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Has been working.
I thought you were talking about the device.
But why do I need the app now? It was installed on February 23rd of this year.
Well, I'm saying you need the app so that you can see what's going on.
I can't see. She can.
You can't see what's going on.
I can just see that it's active. I can just see that it's working. I can't see.
Yeah, that doesn't seem to me like it works very well for you.
Well,
I mean, it should tell you what is going on.
It's not giving me any medical device or how much I would be curious.
It's just information. I think that information is generated in your body. It should belong to you.
You're right. You're right. It should. And I've read all the information on it, but it's really not for me. It's for the doctor.
Yeah, I hear you.
Now I enter stuff in here like my blood pressure when I wake up. I can put it in there, and my weight and all that kind of stuff, so it can be tracked better, and they can see he's losing weight, he's gaining weight.
So where do you get the blood pressure from?
I have a machine at home. I don't.
Oh, okay, so you got a blood pressure monitor that you put on and measure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I have that too, but for me, I should take it more often. It's just that my doctor said, do this in the afternoon because we're getting some strange readings when you're doing it in the morning, shortly after exercise. And so try it in the afternoon. Well, I forget in the afternoon.
Me too. My Samsung can actually take my blood pressure. And I read on how to do that.
Really?
Yeah, you got to buy the cuff that communicates.
Okay.
Okay, that's worthless.
Yeah, what's the point?
I already have that.
Yeah, exactly. If I got to put a cuff on, I can read it myself.
Attached to another machine. But this does keep track of my activity as far as how much I walk.
Very interesting. I mean, because your watch does that too.
Yes. But this one's automatic. I don't have to turn it on. It's always on.
See, I was just thinking about this, and I was thinking we are going to get to the point, because it'll be so handy, that you wear something like the watch or whatever, and it's happening with your pacemaker, and the information will be automatically put in your medical files digitally.
Yeah.
And then a smart program, an expert program, we would call them, and some people would now say AI, will monitor that information over many years and say, oh, here's a potential problem. We've seen this in 3,000 other people.
Yeah. It gives great data.
Yeah.
So this tells my physical activity. It'll tell me the number of hours and minutes I walk or run every day.
Yeah, I got that too.
And Helen disputes this number.
Oh, she says you're not doing that much, or
Correct.
You're doing more?
Correct. She says I'm not doing that much. Like yesterday, it lists
How would she know?
Well, she sees me at least an hour a day.
Yeah, well, there's 23 hours in the day. I mean, I'm presuming you're there at night too.
According to this, yesterday I spent 6 hours, 11 minutes either walking or running.
That's a long time.
Well, my average, though, for the week was only 4 hours and 20 minutes. Of course, I had food poisoning.
Well, you had some kind of problem. We weren't sure if it was food poisoning.
Don't know for sure. Could have been a virus, could have been food poisoning. And for those days that I had food poisoning, I still spent 2 hours of walking.
Do you remember walking for that?
I'm always walking through the house. I'm always moving.
I see you sitting here for 3 hours at a time.
Yeah, and it's not counting right now that I'm walking.
Well, that's what I was wondering about.
Maybe if I go to the bathroom, it'll count that
Well,
minute.
my watch counts the steps.
Yeah, mine does too.
And so
I think it's set for 6,000 a day is my goal.
6,000. Okay. I don't think that's 4 hours of walking.
I don't know, but this also counts my bicycle.
Because I get about 5,000 or 6,000 a day, but that often counts my exercise too. But the exercise is only less than half an hour at a time.
Of course,
and so 6,000 steps to me doesn't equate to 4 hours.
I don't know. I just know that this is what it says, and I tell Helen it's got to be right because it was very expensive.
It's a computer. It says so right here. How can you not trust this computer? And it's directly tied into me. It's measuring directly.
I can't deactivate it. So
well, I'm just saying that there's probably some definitional issues going on there.
I don't know, but think about how many times you move, and I move a lot throughout the day.
Well, I'm saying that the number of steps is about the same that I think I do. I mean, it's close. And man, I do not believe that I am walking 4 hours a day or 6 hours a day. Just not. I mean, I may be standing for almost that long a day. But walking, there's my skepticism coming up,
6,000 steps, according to my AI, 50 to 60 minutes, roughly 2.5 to 3 miles.
Yeah, sounds about right.
So obviously, if I'm doing 6 of that, I'm walking a half marathon a day.
But you're saying 6,000 steps.
6,000 steps
a day is what you were saying you did.
A day.
Yeah.
So on my phone.
But
on my watch.
Yeah, but your phone is saying that's about an hour.
Yeah.
You were saying you're doing 4 to 6
but
hours.
Look, yesterday I have 6 hours and 10 minutes listed as walking or something. I spent normally an hour on the bike, which they count that as steps.
Oh, well, okay.
Because it's moving.
Yeah, all right.
The computer doesn't know how to separate it.
Yeah.
I spent an hour in the gym.
So if you're driving, that also counts?
No.
Oh.
But they and no, it doesn't. But then the gym, I'm constantly moving for an hour. So I'm not covering 2 miles, but I don't know.
See, I'm thinking that.
Okay, those are questions I'm going to have to ask tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay.
Or today.
Yeah, today. Ask that because 6,000 does not equate to 4 hours.
I want to see what they label as steps.
Exactly.
Or walking.
That's the definitional issue I was talking about. And this is my scientific training come in because definitions are extremely important whenever you're writing a scientific paper or trying to do research. If you don't define things, you're not adequately measuring them, and then you can't. Science is all about measurement. If you can't measure it, it's not science.
I got an alert from Edward.
Okay.
It's time to move. They just announced this information, and Iran is starting to look good. Representative Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez. Now you know it's not serious because it starts off with her.
Yeah, that's the first thing I was wondering.
Has surged to the top of the latest 2028 Democratic presidential primary poll.
Oh, I've been promoting her for a long time.
Oh, thank you.
I think she and Harris together would make a fantastic team for the Democrats.
Thank you. The first time the progressive has led the field, according to the most recent poll by Atlas Intel, 26% of Democrats voters said they would back Ocasio-Cortez presidential bid, with former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg and California Governor Gavin Newsom coming in second and third, respectively. On the Republican side, Secretary of State Marco Rubio leads the field of potential candidates with 45.4% of primary voters. Behind him is a distant second and third are Vice President J.D. Vance and Governor Ron DeSantis.
Man, that says what a deep bench we have.
Oh, my gosh, yes. Now, Vance is not getting near the publicity as Marco Rubio.
At the moment, right.
Man, he is. Marco Rubio.
But Rubio is doing an incrable job. I'm just amazingly impressed with him.
And his speech, his press conferences, his speeches.
He's like a different man. I'm saying, where were you during the presidential campaign?
And I tell you, JD's no slouch.
No,
not at all.
Not at all.
No.
And DeSantis has been very impressive as governor of Florida.
Yeah. Oh, the best governor in the state right now. I mean, in the country.
I think so.
And yet, when he was a presidential candidate, he looked blah.
I think he is
just didn't pull
learning
it
a
off.
tremendous amount on the job.
Well,
and also there's a big difference between campaigning and governing.
That's what I was going to point out. He's a working governor and doing a great job.
Yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean he can campaign perfectly or well.
That's right. And he didn't campaign well. He didn't present himself as well as he really is. I don't think. I just remember he was the bottom of the field or near it.
Yeah, he
didn't deserve it.
He just barely won the election to become governor of California.
The first time.
Right. And he instituted election reforms that were serious and cleaned up a lot of the elections there in Florida. And Florida went from being a purple state to a red state.
Right. A solid, and that's because he did clean up the voting and stuff.
I think so. I mean, there's a very strong correlation.
Yeah.
And there's a very easy mechanism to understand where that correlation could have been caused. And so my interpretation is that cleaning up the elections resulted in a much stronger majority of conservatives. Of course, they also have a lot of conservatives moving to Florida too.
The other excellent leader, not necessarily politician, was the ex-governor of North Dakota. Was his name Doug? Is it Burnham?
Burgum, I think.
Burgum. What an excellent guy, smart, handles himself well. But as far as a politician running for president, he just looked pale.
Yeah, there's that. And look at governor of South Dakota, Kristi Noem, who did a fantastic job as governor.
Yeah.
But as Secretary of
Homeland Security.
But she power went to her head.
She made some mistakes.
She made some serious mistakes.
But she also did some good things.
But I mean, she did a good job mostly in the job, but unfortunately her personal life.
And when you think of her, what's her biggest mistake? What do you think? As others would perceive it, not necessarily you. Killing her dog.
The affair with
that's a big one.
With Lewandowski. And it's too bad. I mean, both of them seem extremely talented individuals.
Yeah.
And it's just has been bad for both of them.
But I think killing her dog in that book was unfortunately a big.
See, I don't see that as a mistake.
No, but to some people it's unconscionable.
Well,
but the non-farmers, the non-country.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the country.
Yeah.
And I remember reading, I think it was Kipling, maybe others, where they said a real man kills their own dog.
Right. But today, I mean,
it's not accepted today by a large number of people.
You may get the police after you.
I've seen it. I've seen, and you better not botch the job.
Oh my gosh.
And I've seen that at least twice.
Unless you're a veterinarian.
With very bad consequences for the people who botched it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's a scary proposition.
So, I mean, there are ways you don't botch it, but anyway, I'm not going to go over those in the air.
I got to mention tomorrow that Donald Trump is headed to China.
Yes.
And he's taking hundreds of aides, security personnel.
Oh, I love it.
And officials.
Because
hundreds.
The Chinese, I mean, this is okay. And people may disagree with me. I think mostly they would agree. In Chinese culture, there's this huge thing about, quote, face, and taking hundreds of aides and security people is I am big and important face.
It's better to look good than to feel good. I know.
I think in China, this is a big deal.
Yeah, it is. I think that's it. But there's a problem with security, and I thought you'd enjoy that. Going to China is notoriously, they're going to spy on us. We probably spy on them.
Of course they're going to spy on us. They always do.
Officials entering China will travel stripped down, clean digitally devices.
Okay, good.
Temporary laptops. They're not taking their personal ones.
Right.
They'll get a temporary laptop. that has nothing on it. And tightly controlled communication systems, which they
Yes.
bring with them,
Yes.
designed to minimize the risk of surveillance, hacking, or data collection.
Right.
Which
All that makes perfect sense.
which we consider that the world's most aggressive cyber environment.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's causes apparently logistical headaches.
Oh yeah.
And normally when you travel, you take a charging device and all that. You cannot plug anything into anything in China. They're taking their own
That makes
power
perfect
systems.
sense. Yeah.
They're taking all their own power systems.
I remember. Now I went through communication security as part of my military training a long time ago, about 50 years ago. No, 40 years ago. And wow. I mean, yes, plugging into something, an unsecured system,
Yeah.
was almost considered like a direct door into what you were
I
doing.
didn't even know you could hack it that way, but apparently,
Oh, yeah.
but it does. It does.
And
So-
that was 40 years ago.
But when
Well,
you have-
it's so much more sophisticated now.
You have hundreds of people going with you. I mean,
Yeah.
they've all got to be up to speed.
Oof.
I'm sure it's routine for them, possibly. I don't know. A former Secret Service agent named Bill Gage. China is a mass surveillance state. Briefings for U.S. officials begin well before the president arrives, and they will make clear that everyone is monitored. We always tell people to assume everything you say, do, both in person and digitally, could be monitored.
I would assume that. I would have assumed that
And that-
definitely.
And that's Teresa Payton. She's a former White House chief information officer,
Oh, yeah.
and
I mean,
CEO of cybersecurity firm.
Assume that if you go to China as an individual, you should always assume that in China you're always being watched and
They know
surveilled
everything
and
about
recorded.
you. And they probably, once you get there, they may have somebody that researches your digital footprint in America.
Oh, very likely, almost certainly. I mean, it becomes a question of do you have the manpower to do it? But if anybody has the manpower to do it, it's China.
They're also taking a lot of American firms, including Apple, Boeing, Qualcomm. I mean,
okay,
BlackRock.
yeah,
A lot of oligarchs.
Right.
I don't like that term. It doesn't suit. But they're successful people.
No,
billionaires.
oligarchs doesn't suit the American system.
No. That's the left, though, that will push. That
Well, they're
kind of
trying
craziness.
to make in an odd kind of way. They're trying to equate American capitalists with rich Chinese Communist Party members.
Edward just sent me a Wall Street Journal article on it that on Trump arriving there. He's going to get there around 10 a.m. local time for an arrival ceremony. That
Okay.
doesn't surprise me
No.
that there's going to be a ceremony.
Well, we have them here.
Yeah.
When the Chinese chairman comes to the White House, there's a ceremony.
Yeah. I don't know how many politicians are bringing, but anybody that could.
And all of that is
totally-
negotiated about who's going to do what and
Sure.
stand where and how many guards and security and
And
everything.
it's
It's
going to
all
depend on
up-
how many of the bills you voted for.
Well, I'm talking about in China.
Oh,
When
in
we're going on
China.
this trip, all this is going to be negotiated between the Chinese government and the American government. And Trump is strong enough that if they don't make reasonable arrangements, he just won't go. And all that has been satisfied by now. I'm not trying to claim that he would pull out now because it's the negotiations. But if they say he gets there and they say, "Oh, we're not going to put a ramp to your plane. You have to get down the back door," he'll just say, "We're leaving."
Oh. The Chinese embassy spokesperson, Liu Pingyu, in China, personal privacy is protected by law.
Yeah, but they don't have much of a rule of law in China.
The Chinese government places a high priority on protecting data privacy and security in accordance with the law.
Wow.
It has never required and never will require enterprises or individuals to collect or store data in violation of the law.
Well, of course, but the law says we collect it all.
Yeah. And obviously we know better, I think, at least or we think we know better.
See, it's all in the definitions.
Yeah.
He says, we only do it by the law. But if the law says the Chinese Communist
Of
Party gets to record all of your
Of course, but that's that save face comment.
communications for security reasons, they do it. I mean, I think most of our communications in the United States are recorded.
Teresa Payton, she's the White House chief information officer, former. She says You may see executives issued loaner phones with a known golden image, meaning security teams can compare the device before and after use to see if it's been tampered with. There may be controlled safe zones where set up where officials can communicate back to the U.S., but everything is tightly managed. The White House Military Office and Communications Team create controlled spaces where they can monitor both physical, digital access to ensure sensitive conversations remain secure.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's what we need to do.
I don't know how long it takes to set these things up, man. This sounds pretty engaged.
Yes, it does.
China will conduct extensive research on every member of the U.S. delegation, from senior officials down to junior personnel.
Sure, of course. I mean, that's what you would do. I mean, that's just.
We would do the same.
We would do, of course. I mean, that's, to me, thinking from a military and intelligence perspective, it's like, who would ever think you wouldn't?
I guess we expect our country to do it. I don't know that we always top of mind thinking everyone else is.
Well,
and that's probably
people
unfair.
don't get to leadership positions in one of the most important nations of the world by being stupid. Now, they make stupid decisions because of their false understanding of reality. I think that happens. But in terms of things like security and intelligence, they're going to be major Machiavellian players. They're going to understand the dynamics of power.
Edward knows somebody on the delegation, which I don't doubt, and says a friend said this arrival was a massive party-like atmosphere. I bet that's intentional.
Sure, I can believe that.
That's got to be intentional. Make everyone comfortable, and we're around amongst friends.
Yeah, of course, of course. I mean, that's one of the biggest things that you
check your wallet.
As I've read, I've never been an intelligence agent. Well, not officially anyway. But I have talked and studied this stuff. And one of the first things you try to do is to maintain a pleasant atmosphere like you're their buddy, because that gets people to talking.
Yeah, absolutely. We mentioned earlier just briefly that the left in this country, the progressives, are complaining that Iran's winning the war and Trump's losing it.
Bizarre.
We've outspent all our munitions, and it's going to take 5 years to get back to all that stupid stuff.
Yeah.
But Trump makes a comment on that. And he says, when fake news says the Iranian enemy is doing well militarily against us, it's virtual treason, in that it is such a false and even preposterous statement. They are aiding and abetting the enemy. All it does is give Iran false hope when none should exist. These are American cowards that are rooting against our country. Iran had 159 ships in their navy. Every single ship is now resting at the bottom of the sea. They have no navy. Their air force is gone. All technology is gone. Their leaders are no longer with us, and the country is in an economic disaster. Only losers, ingrates, and fools are able to make a case against America.
Well, Trump is very direct.
You think that? Do you know what he meant by that?
I think so. I think those are very direct statements.
No, you don't have to read between the lines, you mean?
No,
it's not.
I would not have put it in those words, even though I pretty much agree with them.
No, it's not very diplomatic.
Yeah.
You wouldn't call it diplomatic.
But that's Trump's trademark.
Well, and I think it's become more aggressive as people become aggressive against him.
Yes, absolutely correct. I mean, I read some of the stuff that is purported to be news, and my brow becomes furrowed, and I get a puzzled look on my face. And what world are these people living in?
He did a interview quickly on the White House lawn as he was going, I think, from the helicopter back to the White House. And he stops at the fence line and gives people time.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And he does have a short fuse for stupid.
He does.
And he'll tell them that is a stupid question and you are a stupid reporter.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, a major difference between President Trump and I believe virtually every president before him, going back to probably FDR in the 1930s, has learned to fear the media.
He doesn't.
And he does not.
No. But he's patient. I mean, that may seem impatient to call him stupid, but he just keeps moving down the line because there's probably 500 media there. There's not, but it looks like it. And he just moves on to the next stupid one, and he's talking to people he doesn't know who they are.
Right.
He's unafraid.
Correct.
And he just moves right along the line, and he stops and has real conversations.
And I don't think he's not worried about creating a narrative. He is simply reinforcing reality, which is a huge difference.
Yep. Yes. And some of those reporters may only get limited opportunity to ever ask directly a question to the president of the United States.
Sure. Correct.
So when I look at it on the surface, I say, well, why would you waste it so that you could be called stupid? But I think in a lot of office buildings, they're going to get congratulated.
Yes, exactly right. They will be rewarded for trying to make Trump look bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
even though it was a stupid question.
Like I didn't really want to get a story, or I didn't really have an answer.
No, I wanted to do something that would embarrass Trump.
Yeah, which it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. But they're thinking that's a very powerful thing for them. That might have been true a dozen years ago, 15 years ago. I tend to think of 1994 as the break point when we started getting a much more diverse media, fractured media, partisan, as I call it. But it's really getting stronger and stronger over time. It was not super strong in 94. It's much stronger now.
Yeah.
Much more diverse, much more partisan.
But the outrageousness is much stronger.
That too.
It's almost an expectation that I'm a progressive, so I've got to get thrown out.
Yes, it shows how much of what I call the progressive ideology is based on false premises.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the major things about progressive ideology is they don't trust people. They don't trust the majority of people. They don't trust voters. Gee, are we seeing that on the left?
I say, you don't trust. I think they think they're smarter than the average voter. You guys don't know what's good for you.
Yes, they do. Yeah. Absolutely correct. That's 100%. The whole point of progressive ideology is to have a small cadre of experts who run the country.
That's why the SAVE Act isn't going to pass right now, because even though 75% of the population, including progressives, want it, the leadership that are progressive know better.
That's exactly correct.
Because I don't think the average person realizes how much they count on that to get reelected. Yes. The lack of a SAVE Act.
Well, all of that is
lack of integrity.
I think people are learning and absorbing that and realizing it. And to give credit where it's due, Rush Limbaugh stated it all the time, and he stated it very succinctly. He said the philosophy of many politicians on the left, or maybe most or all, is how can we fool them today?
Yeah, unfortunately. You know, when this Strait of Hormuz was locked down, and when the first Iranian kinetic attack started and all that,
right?
Trump was very vocal about the lack of help from NATO. Certain countries not only didn't help, they blocked him from doing their assets. Irritated and all that, and said we could do it on our own and all that. So surprisingly to read this, that Australia has agreed to a France and a UK-led defensive mission to secure shipping through the Strait of Hormuz.
Interesting. When's it going to go into effect?
Well, they're meeting on it Tuesday. No, it says Australia would contribute an E-7A wedge-tail surveillance aircraft that has already been deployed. It's already been deployed to the Middle East. Said it followed a meeting that was yesterday, that included 40 countries. Australia stands ready to support an independent and strictly defensive multinational military mission led by the United Kingdom and France once it is established. So it's not been established yet, but they've already got some assets.
Yeah, and they got some wiggle worms in there, strictly defensive. What does that mean? It means that if they're attacking a tanker, we won't take them out, or they won't take them out.
I don't know that they're sending any kinetic type aircraft.
Exactly.
They said this one is a surveillance only.
I mean, I'd say it's a positive move, but as Victor Davis Hanson has been pontificating about this, and he says, when the Europeans think it's safe, then they'll come in and claim credit.
He said that from right early on. He said that from early on.
He's been saying it for
so it weeks. Must be getting close to that, because France.
Yeah, exactly what I was thinking.
France is sending an aircraft carrier, their only aircraft carrier,
right,
in there. I don't know for what reason.
Well,
And this surveillance, according to Australia, is an independent, so it's
Yeah,
not
from-
communicating with
from-
the United States.
from Victor Davis Hanson's analysis, I'd say they're sending it there so they can claim credit.
Correct. And you heard Stormer, who failed miserably.
Stormer or Starmer?
Starmer. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
Failed miserably.
Oh, yeah.
But he was from early on saying, we're working to get the strait open. We're working on
Yeah, it's funny.
And he refuses to help in any way or engage.
Right, but
he's working
big
on
on talking.
He's working on it.
Yeah, right.
Along with 40 other countries that they've been meeting
Yeah.
on how we're going to get this done because, these stupid Americans, are fouling things up, I guess. I don't know.
It's bizarre.
Now, you've heard that Iran is refusing to back down on uranium enrichment.
Well, I've heard so many different stories.
Well,
coming out
this
of
one
Iran.
seems to be consistent, though.
Go ahead.
And they sent their own list of demands.
Oh, is this where Trump said this is a stupid list?
Yes. I don't have it in front of me, I don't think.
That's what's required. Direct.
But they want to continue to enhance. They want reparations from the United States for all the things they destroyed.
Oh,
They want money to rebuild and all that kind of stuff.
no, you guys are the wrong leadership. I mean,
There were 5 on the list.
it
I don't
sounds like they're
remember all 5.
suicidal.
Well, they're still arrogant and still, but that's been who they are.
Well, right.
And they're threatening retaliation if you don't. Listen.
At the end of World War II, when the Japanese had been the recipients of 2 atomic bombs, there was still large numbers of the Japanese military says we've got to keep on fighting.
Yeah, we got them cornered now.
Yeah.
We know where they are because they're all here right outside our border.
Yeah. And the emperor, to his credit, said, no, we don't need to destroy the whole country. And he capitulated and saved Japan. And look at Japan today.
Well, capitulated after mass destruction.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
I'm saying he surrendered. It was an unconditional surrender.
Yeah.
And the majority of the Japanese military followed his orders. But there was a strong cadre of fanatics who wouldn't do it.
I remember seeing video of some island that the United States was able to recapture or whatever, and civilian Japanese women and children and all that were on in the video were jumping off cliffs to their deaths.
Okinawa, I think.
And it was horrific. And the soldiers are begging them.
Yeah.
Don't jump.
Well,
okay.
American soldiers.
American soldiers.
But it was the policy they'd been told that Americans would treat them so badly.
You'd be better off dead.
They'd be better off dead.
Yeah. So they were just jumping off in
Many,
droves.
I think it was thousands committed suicide.
Yeah. It was just like horrible.
It was.
And they were filming the whole thing, but the American soldiers couldn't get over there fast enough to save anybody.
Well, eventually, there were some that were saved.
Okay. The ones that were very slow getting to the edge. I guess.
Slow or, maybe
Hesitant.
reluctant, commit suicide, whatever.
U.S., China agree no country should impose tolls at Strait of Hormuz. China agrees. And
Wow.
I haven't
That's directly contrary to what the Iranians are saying.
Right. Because I know a lot of people are looking at the Taiwanese and China, that China wants to invade, take over.
Well, that's been a huge thing for, was Chairman Xi, the current Xi. I don't, it's Chinese pronunciation, so I'm going to say I don't know how to do it precisely. That's been part of his leadership for many years.
Well, they're building this massive military, that has landing ships and all kinds of stuff.
But the Chinese generals and admirals are, this is what I read anyway, are telling them, look, it's a tough nut. We don't think it's not worth it. We're not ready.
Apparently those waters right there are very turbulent and tough. It's not a smooth.
And it's 100 miles.
Yeah.
It's not the English Channel.
And you're kind of a sitting duck out there.
Right.
And with all the stuff that they know has been already put into Taiwan and the huge munitions that are still arriving from the United States, just to stop that. I mean, they're going to not. It's going to be tough.
I'm going to put forward another reason, which is very clear to me: the Iranian war.
Yeah.
Look at what the Iranians have done to the Russian fleet
You mean
in the Black Sea.
not the Iranians?
Not the Iranians, the Ukrainians.
Ukrainians,
Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man, talk about a
Yeah.
brain.
But I
hiccup.
think the Iranian thing
If the Ukrainians can do that to the Russian fleet, what can the Taiwanese do
Well,
to a Chinese
and look
fleet?
what the United States just did to Iran with China's best stuff and Russia's best stuff.
Exactly.
Same in
Those are strong signals.
same as Venezuela. You know,
Yes.
look at they purposely bought the highest tech China had and
Correct.
put that stuff
They
in.
probably had Chinese technicians running a good chunk
And
of it.
it worked, but United States worked right around it.
Yes.
And so it's got to be all second guessing at this point. Now, something I read early on in Taiwan within the last couple of years is to defend against China. Did not make sense to buy F-35s. You know, they're very expensive. They could do so much more with missile systems and stuff that are embedded in the cliffs and stuff like that.
Okay.
Against any kind of invasion.
Sure. It makes perfect sense. And also, China has been pursuing a reunification through economics, and it's been working.
Okay.
They're tying Taiwanese economics with mainland China economics, and it's actually been working. And I agree. If I were the Chinese, I'd say, well, this is working. Why take all the risk of a military adventure?
It's about saving face. He said he was going to take it. He's going to.
Well, that may be.
But anyway, they decided to spend it all on things that are more economical and more massive.
Yeah.
But now I read they just signed a contract for F-35s.
Interesting.
So they must have reached a point of saturation with the other things, and now the F-35s very effective.
Very expensive too.
Yeah, that's it. They come with a big sticker, and that sticker doesn't end because you own the aircraft.
No,
It's a maintenance issue.
And I'm kind of surprised. From my viewpoint, the money would be better spent on drones.
Yes, and I would assume that it has been, and they've got
maybe so. I don't know. I mean, all of exactly what they have and how much and how it's configured,
we don't know.
Is heavily guarded secrets.
Yeah,
very important. You know, how much intelligence, and for defense particularly, if you're trying to prevent somebody from invading you, the more uncertainty, the better.
I told you that the Iranians had 5 conditions for new nuclear talks and all that stuff. They're not going to do it, but
well, they just
here's the 5.
I
do have them. It includes ending hostilities across all fronts, lifting all sanctions, unfreezing all Iranian assets, providing compensation for war-related damages and losses, and formally recognizes Iran's sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz.
It's delusional.
It's crazy.
It's absolutely delusional. It's not going to happen.
No, I don't think so. I mean, what would it take for that to happen?
Well, we'd have to elect Barack Obama or Biden be president.
I meant under the current situation.
Well, I understand, but I'm saying that would be that both Biden and Obama empowered Iran directly with money and agreements. We went backwards. I mean, it was horrible.
You know, the world is not going to say that we can take international waters and just turn it into private waters. I mean, they're not going to do that. It would happen. It would cause a surge that all over the world.
Well, exactly. It reverses what happened first with what I call Pax Britannica, where the English Empire insisted on freedom of navigation all over the world.
Yeah.
And they went after and destroyed pirates all over the place. And that then, after World War II, became Pax Americana, where America took over that role of ensuring freedom of the seas and free navigation in international waters. And it would be very bad for the world to go back to where any nation with a coastline essentially became infested with pirates. That
does anybody do it besides us? Is there any help out there besides the United States?
Well, that's a good question.
I
mean, there are we have agreements with Australia, for example, and it's got a couple submarines and it's got some other ships. And I think we have agreements with Japan is building a much bigger Navy now.
Well, they've got a lot to worry about because
they do.
China's trying to take over.
We just signed an agreement with Indonesia, the Philippines.
But this isn't going to United Nations or
no. But when you say, is there anybody else to help us? Yes, there are some, and I think it's shifting more toward the Pacific region.
Well, that's
than from Europe.
That's where most of the trouble is with China.
With China in the Pacific, but I see the Iranian situation. The Chinese supported the Iranians with weaponry. They basically traded weaponry for oil as a way to keep the U.S. involved and another pressure point against the U.S. in the Mediterranean and in the European theater, Mideast theater, if you want to call it that. So that's being changed radically now.
Okay. The whole Gulf, the whole Gulf states over there, the Saudi Arabia,
right,
Qatar,
UAE,
all those, becoming really interesting. And I've always seen, it's always been stated that Saudi Arabia is the big boy on the stage, militarily and everything else. Let me take a phone. Let me take a phone call first, and we'll talk that. Ted, what's going on?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
We're doing well, and yourself?
Are you fine? Are you watching the hearings right now?
I am not. I'm on air.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well,
that's okay. So
we're on the podcast.
So are you? So you can tell me what it is.
Well, I'll tell you. Rand Paul is questioning the whistleblower for the COVID.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Good.
And he just said that Fauci was compliant in the whole thing through the CIA.
It's one thing to say it, though. It's another.
They got the documents. They already got. He's not.
I don't think you mean compliant. I think you mean another word. Compliant would mean that he's
going along with it. I think he instigated it.
Right, but
he drove it.
But there's a different word there, I think, which isn't coming to my mind.
But are they talking about arrest or anything?
I don't know, but it's getting intense.
Yeah,
it's getting intense.
Is Fauci there?
Rand Paul is. No.
I would think instead of compliant, maybe you're thinking coordinated.
Maybe.
Complicit.
Complicit. That's the word I was thinking.
Allowed the CIA to put him in the position that he was in.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what Rand Paul was getting the guy to.
Wow.
Back up. He's got documents. He's got
I was going to say Rand Paul's not going to
desk.
ask those questions unless he already has the proof.
I'm sure.
What did we discuss about lawyers? Don't ask a question you don't already know the answer to.
You're correct.
One of my listeners says complicit also. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you for that help.
Me too. I appreciate you helping my diction.
So, is this going to an arrest at some point, or?
Well, it could be prosecution. We could see
rhetoric.
Prosecution. All this. I think you very possibly can see a prosecution.
We're tired of rhetoric, and your story's different than my story stuff. It's got to go through the courts.
I want him arrested. I've already told that to the Speaker's office. I want him arrested. And I want him to follow this back to the CIA to see who was complicit in that.
You're talking about Fossey.
Yeah.
But Fossey has a presidential pardon.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, it does.
No, it doesn't matter.
They're talking about getting around that somehow. Especially with Fauci.
But I think it needs to be pursued anyway, even if he doesn't go to jail.
Well,
get it
other
out.
People,
get it all out.
All they have to do is prove that Biden was not of sound-minded body when he wrote those pardons.
Yeah, that's a point.
I mean, they've got doctor reports that have been doctored through his own doctors.
I think Fauci's was an auto pin too. It wasn't even Biden.
That's an important point.
Yeah, they all were. Yeah, they were all auto pins. But if they can prove that he was not of sound-minded body at the time that those were pushed out.
Yeah,
they got him.
It's a big deal.
We'll see.
Rand Paul's not stupid. He may be goofy, but he's not stupid.
No, he is not.
But it doesn't matter if Fauci survives this thing from jail or whatever. The story needs to be told. The truth needs to get out.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, exactly. But punishment, they need to start punishing these people. Stop going after the law.
There's got to be consequences.
Hanging on a tree.
Not everybody got a pardon, buddy.
stop picking up the raw fruit on the ground. Go after the ones that initiated it.
Yeah.
This was a full out military or CIA operation
Wow.
Yeah.
to get gain of function. And they're going to get to the people that know it. This guy right here knows what was going on.
Well,
James Edmund.
I have thought that might be the case. I mean, just thinking about how it happened, and you have all this funding going over to China to do this research. It just doesn't seem. It seemed unreasonable that it would happen without somebody noticing.
Do you remember the last thing that happened in this country with using American citizens as guinea pigs through the military?
Because I think, but there are some famous cases, and we know about them.
Down in
But
the
there are probably others we don't know about.
Right, down in the South.
Yeah, the syphilis research.
Remember that? Yeah, remember that
LSD
way?
research. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all the cattle that are showing up on these conspiracies of UFOs, you know what that is? That's government testing to see how bad the radiation has gotten into our food supply.
Really?
I'm having a difficult time making that connection.
Look at the river that leads out of the northwest coast that's full of radioactive material.
All those rivers
dumped in
flow
there.
all the way to the ocean.
They do.
And into inland.
Do you
And
have
the
a
cattle
Geiger
have been
counter? Go ahead and
eaten.
check that for me.
I do have one, matter of fact, yes.
I figured you might.
I do. I have a Geiger counter.
Well,
Yes.
we
But-
have a lot of atomic power plants and research we did on the what's that big river up in Washington State?
That's the one. I forget the name of it right now. It flows all the way down here into the Rio Grande too.
No, the other
It
the one in
connects to the
Washington State
Gila.
goes directly into the ocean, and I should
this
remember
one
it, but I
flows
don't.
in. Yeah,
It doesn't go
this
through
river
the coast.
flows internally. The one that I'm talking about that they dumped a lot of nuclear waste into.
Nobody
They
dumps
caught the
nuclear
they caught
waste.
the
The
it's
Columbia
on-
is what
it's-
I'm thinking about.
They caught it. It's on record in the federal government. Look
Well,
up.
Columbia had a lot of. They used the cooling from the Columbia River for some of our nuclear research stations and such, and they closed some of
Right.
those down about 10, 20 years ago. And yes, there was a lot of contamination in the ground right around those nuclear plants. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of it got into the Columbia, but that's not what you're saying. It's a river on the other side of the Continental Divide that flows this way.
Right, exactly. They pumped nuclear waste into that waterway.
I
Yeah,
have
well,
doubts.
I just looked at it AI real quick, but it says a total of 450 billion gallons of nuclear and chemical waste were dumped into the Columbia River directly.
But that's the Columbia. He's saying this is not the Columbia he's talking about.
Yeah. Plutonium production at Hanford.
Hanford, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. I almost took a job there at one time.
Well, that's why you don't glow. You didn't get it.
Well,
Yeah.
whatever. It was probably a good thing I didn't get it. I have liked my life,
Yeah.
but a very close
Well-
friend of mine got a job up there. Go ahead.
My uncle worked for the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, okay? DOD, the Department of Defense. And he told me a couple of things. One, to stay out of the Chesapeake Bay, especially the northern part of it, because of one of the military bases at the head of the bay, because
Yeah.
of what they were doing.
Yeah, there's some.
You know which
There's
one.
several important military installations right around the Chesapeake Bay.
That's where I used to go
Yeah.
crabbing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they glow in the dark too. You can catch them at night. But there's some problems, and believe me, this hullabaloo about cattle being Martians and stuff like that. Forget that. This is a monitoring of our food supply, especially cattle.
You know how much trouble it is to surreptitiously kill a cattle and take parts of it when they could just buy the
It
cow.
would be easy. Yeah.
You can't. They're trying not to leave a footprint.
But they are.
They
If
don't
what you're
want-
saying is true,
it's
they're leaving
not-
a big footprint when they don't have to.
Hey, all you got to do is throw. I told you about how easy it is to fool everybody by using UFOs and
Well,
stuff. Come on, guys.
don't agree.
Come on.
You're wearing a
You know the
tinfoil
military-
hat. We
You
know.
know the military, the CIA. The CIA know exactly how to do stuff. And that's who's
Mm.
doing the cattle, because they're so worried about
I haven't
us
heard of a
finding out
cattle
what has happened.
cattle thing in
Mutilations?
years.
I
Yeah.
haven't heard of those for quite a while.
Every day.
No.
Check the cattle industry website about cattle mutilations. Believe me, I'm telling you, this is CIA. Our government is doing that to the cattle.
Well, you know, cattle
see
have this
how-
thing. They have a lot of tasty meat. There are people who kill cattle and cut them up for a cheap steak.
Okay, I didn't want to fire off a conspiracy here. but
Well,
I'm
whatever.
telling
I
you,
mean, you brought up wonderful. I loved your view on what's going on with the in the congressional hearings. Appreciate that.
Let me see,
okay.
just real quick from my AI thing. Recent cattle mutilations, particularly a series of incidents in Oregon's Harney and Crook counties, 2019 to 21, feature surgically removed organs, precise cuts, complete blood drainage. These cases often show no predator tracks or signs of struggle, fueling theories involving UFOs or cults, although official investigation sometimes suggests a typical scavenger activity. With a scalpel?
I
Oh, yeah,
find
we
when you
got-
dig into the details of these things, they often don't meet the descriptions.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's a biology student just doing some research.
Yeah, or
Oh,
the
I
cult thing
love-
seems likely to me.
when they find the cattle indented in the ground where they were dropped out of a dual prop helicopter, I
Dual
don't
prop.
think that's a college student.
Yeah.
I don't think they
They've
find
already
that.
they've got
I
they've
have
got
never
the
researched
aircraft
any
on
of it,
film.
but I've never researched
Yeah,
any of it.
they've got the aircraft on film. No markings, military grade
Well,
helicopters.
that
Yeah.
explains when they say there's
Dropping-
always a lack of footprints or blood leading to some
Yeah, I got
speculation.
pictures of some of these black helicopters I took out at YPG, you know, because they're not exactly black, but they're a very dull, dark, olive drab. And they look black against the sky a lot of times.
Customs has some black ones.
There are those.
Yeah.
And, you know, I, for one, contemplated promoting a conspiracy theory about how YPG was doing all this work with UFOs. And I figured out all kinds of ways to do it easily when I was contemplating
Easily.
buying Stone Cabin, because it'd make it a tourist trap. So there's lots of people who have plenty of incentive to make things up.
Well,
Well,
I got a
you've
recent
been
one
in the
here from March 26th of 25.
Okay, year ago.
Yeah. So I guess it is still going on. I thought this was like 1960s or something.
No, Russ, but I appreciate you listening to my crap. But I'm telling you, they're going to get to Fauci, but they're going to get to the ones that initiated this project.
All right. Well, I'll look at the cattle mutilation. I've never looked at it ever. So
I've looked at it some and I haven't been impressed.
okay.
You just showed me a picture on your phone. Russ did.
Yeah, that was
of-
not from a
of
predator.
supposedly, what?
That didn't look like a predator
It
did
looked
that
like
kind
a
of damage.
typical scavenging type thing
Really?
to me. I've seen a lot of dead cattle over the years. That cattle,
Well-
that carcass has been there a long time.
Right. Go to the Nuclear Regulatory Commission vis-a-vis the DOD, and you'll find some stuff out. Anyways, let
I
me get off
appreciate
here because
your
I'm just
contribution.
All right, buddy.
okay. Thank
Appreciate
you
it.
guys.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye-bye. I like Ted. He's a security nut like you.
Well,
he,
fine.
He won't check his phone. He won't do stuff, you know.
Well, I check my phone all the time.
No, I mean he won't do internet on his phone. He won't.
Oh, okay.
He would not go onto an AI or something like that. But
Well, I'm using an AI more and more, but I just use it on my computer. It's just so much easier. You can see things so much better on a big screen.
yeah, I think you can. But sometimes I don't have it with me.
Well, okay. Well, I can compartmentalize my life a little different.
A question from a listener is: does your caller have irrefutable evidence that the CIA was involved, or just another conspiracy?
Yeah.
I think that's evident. It's a conspiracy. Although Ted's family was in the CIA,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
you know.
Well,
so
was he?
That
did he
doesn't
say the
make him
CCI? I thought
an
he said
expert.
it was Nuclear Regulatory Commission.
and I'd never. I mean, I thought it was ridiculous to think they were dumping nuclear waste into the river, and then I pull up an article right away.
No, I knew about that.
I had no idea.
I mean, because it's Hanford plant, and it was happening mostly before they figured out how dangerous it could be. And frankly, a lot of the stuff was very low level.
Yeah, but still, wouldn't be allowed today.
No, it wouldn't be allowed today. Correct.
We started talking about the Gulf states, like Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates and all that. They have very capable militaries themselves.
Right. And the UAE has been attacking the Iranians.
Just recently.
Yeah.
Just recently.
And actually, some of it goes back a little further, but they're
they've
about it.
They've had military over the years had some disagreements.
The Iranians attacked them, and they weren't happy about it.
I know, but the United States had been keeping them at bay so that didn't interfere with what they were doing.
Right.
Doing that whole thing.
Right.
And of course, we've been protecting them too. A lot of the defensive stuff has been coming from us. But apparently, I think it was United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia both were in Yemen attacking.
Yes.
That was yesterday, I think.
Oh, I didn't hear about that, but it makes sense.
Okay. And apparently the two disagreed. In fact, check it out on Tosi. He does a real explanation of what's going on. The two disagreed on stuff, and Saudi Arabia kicked them out.
The UAE?
Yeah, well, it kicked the UAE out of Yemen and doing that kind of stuff and told them to leave. Which means Saudi Arabia must have some pull.
But the question would be, was this done diplomatically or militarily?
I think there was some some both. There was some kinetic exchanges.
Yeah, wow. That's not good.
No, and that's what Tosi was upset about, because it's embarrassing that, the guys going in to take care of stuff that our partners
have a conflict among themselves.
Have a conflict. Exactly.
That's not good.
Right. No. Disappointing.
The first thing I'd be wondering, was it potentially a friendly fire incident?
Again, I just know what I saw.
I mean,
from
right.
Tosi. He's saying
this is the type of stuff that's very hard to know the details, because it's all part of the war, and all the parties involved only want their version of events to get out.
Yeah,
and they're all different.
I know. Well, Tosi's reason for getting out was disappointment over the breakdown of the unity to stop Iran. They all universally want to stop Iran.
No, that's standard military.
Yeah.
It's just everybody understands, if you can spread dissent among the allies who are arrayed against you, that's a good thing.
But Tosi, who lives in the area, or not now, he lives in Britain.
Well, he's from Iran.
From that area. He says, he made it clear that the Saudi Arabia is the big boy on the block. I mean, those are the.
Yeah, I think so. Even they've had the money. I think they've put more into their military than anybody else in the region, except for Iran.
And they've had a relationship with the United States. It's been positive
for a long time. And it's gotten a lot better in the last dozen years.
Well, it's gotten a lot better since Trump. They love Trump.
Exactly.
Did not like Biden.
Yeah, it's understandable.
But it didn't ruin our relationship.
Well, they made it clear they were not very warm with us with Biden in charge.
Well, Biden went after him over that
that
journalist that was killed.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was called a journalist, and he did some journalism, but it wasn't the only thing he did.
Yeah. And Biden went after him and destroyed his relationship with Saudi Arabia. And you saw what they did for Trump when he got in. I mean, the parades and the greetings and the stuff. They were tremendous, and then signed all deals to invest in the United States more money than they'd done.
Right. No, Trump's very popular in Saudi. Well, Prince.
And who was it that gave him the airplane? Was that the UAE or was that Qatar?
I forget.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
They gave him a 747.
Right, and I think that plane has just been brought into service now.
Has it? I know it's been going through the retrofit. Because, they got to go through it.
Well, there was all kinds of security reasons, upgrade of engines, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and they can't get a new one until what?
Right. So this is a bridge plane,
another 3 or 4 years, because what they've got's wearing out.
Right. So I mean, it saved us some money for them to give it to us. Although at the time, I remember reading saying, "Yeah, they're giving it to us because they want to get rid of it. It's too expensive."
Well, yeah, an airplane sitting on the ground can cost more per hour than when they're in flight.
Sure, especially a complex modern jet.
because as soon as it lands, they're wrenching them.
Yeah, you got to do maintenance constantly.
Yeah, and a lot of that's just programmed. It's not that something's, in their repair. It's just to keep it in repair.
Right. Preventive maintenance.
Right. So, and helicopters are much worse.
Yes, I hear that. Now, on the other side, I'm just going to throw this out there to see what you think. Well, electrically powered aircraft require less maintenance?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. A lot less. Because a lot of the maintenance is powertrain related.
Yeah, exactly. And the powertrains, internal combustion engine or turbines or whatever, there's a lot of wear. And
Right.
there's you have to do a lot of maintenance to keep them running and reliable. Not so much for electrical motors.
But and normal maintenance is even on private planes. I'll get to that.
Huge amount.
Let's talk to Mr. Gilbert. Good morning, sir.
Hey, Russ, how you doing?
We're doing well, sir. Good morning.
I'm just calling you up to remind everybody about our Saturday meet with the sheriff here at Izzy's
Okay.
at 11375 South Foothills Boulevard, 8 a.m.
Right. And it's coming up. Today's Wednesday already. It's already hump day.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, we want everybody to come in and ask us questions,
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of the sheriff because he's 8 foot tall. He's a nice guy.
Yeah. Ask him hard questions.
Yeah. Thank you, Gilbert. We needed to be reminded of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, did you guys hear about Mayor Bass and her new thing?
I'm not sure. Tell us.
Well, she wants to give all the meth heads, all the homeless people teeth because you need teeth to get a job.
Yeah. She's trying to buy votes right now, buddy. She can't debate, but she knows how to give away tax dollars. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think you're exactly right. But the problem is if you give addicts teeth, they don't maintain them.
Oh no, they sell them.
Oh, gross.
Well, they can. I mean, sometimes if there's any gold in those partials they get, they might well do that.
I think they would sell them just to see.
Wow.
Anyway, that talk about taxpayers' money.
Oh, they love giving it away. It doesn't cost them anything. It's the best campaign you can do is give away taxpayers' money.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Exactly. All right. Anyway, this
right.
coming Saturday, May 16th at 8 a.m. at Izzy Diners, Foothills Boulevard. Come and support the sheriff.
Thank you, buddy.
Izzy.
And thanks for putting out the
Appreciate it.
address. That's good.
Bye-bye. I got a note from a listener and it said, you need to watch Skinwalker Ranch about UFOs and cow mutilation. So there you go. Watch it.
I did a lot of work into, remember when crop circles was a big thing?
Yeah.
I looked at that a lot and I read a lot about what was done. Everything most of what was said about crop circles was just false, just fake.
I didn't do that much. I've seen some documentaries on it and I see where there was a couple clowns, a couple guys that were doing them.
Yeah. And when I read about them, people would claim this could not possibly have been done by any earthly, method.
Yeah.
And then I'd read about people who then upped and said, well, here's how we did it.
Right. They just used a board with some rope on it and walked around and said that. But
exactly.
But the people that are talking about the crop circles said that was an easy to see because the crop circles, have different kinds of damage to the crops and then it's not done with a board and all that. I don't know. I don't get involved in it, but there's information out there.
In my skeptical evaluation, it was just people trying to find more strangeness in the world than actually existed. There's plenty of strangeness in the world without having to resort to aliens.
I discount the guys that were doing it in that it could be that, let's say there was some phenomena that we don't understand doing the crop circles. They saw it on TV, said, well, we can do that, and just jumped up and did some stuff with
well, as I recall, they backed it up. They said, here's how we did it. Here's the technique.
Of course they did.
And
they did a little documentary on it.
Yeah. And you know what that disproves? The idea that the people who claimed it wasn't possible.
Well, I think the people that claimed it wasn't possible said that those guys' techniques and everything were very obviously human. But I'm not, I'm just telling you the other side of it that I read. But I didn't study it. I didn't really go into it. I just thought
I did a
well,
bit.
I thought that was interesting, and I moved on.
And there's also some weather phenomena that you can have that produces somewhat similar kind of things.
Well,
Like you can get a dust devil that touches down in the middle of a
Sure.
crop.
sure. Some of these supposedly were very intricately cut in many different ways, but I don't know. I'm not a big.
You can invest a lot of time in
I'm not doing
pursuing
it.
this
I got other
foolishness.
stuff to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to talk about a pitcher in the national. The Major League Baseball. Noah Snydergaard. I don't know. I'm not really.
It's not a name I'm familiar with.
Yeah, I'm not. Well, I'm not a big baseball guy. Now, if Mel was in here, Mel would know them.
Oh yeah,
No, he would know who that
yeah,
is.
that's a passion of his.
He showed up on show in Outkicks show, and he got into the politics a little bit. And he said that he addresses departures of fan favorites, Brandon Nemo and Pete Alonso, I guess 2 players that left. He said the shift in the locker room reflects something bigger happening in the city itself. And this is, of course, New York Mets. He says it's kind of also ironic. Those 2 guys are some of the biggest conservatives I've played for, as well as win, with Jacob deGrom. The craziness that's going on in New York. And he admitted that the draw of playing in New York never really goes away. You know, he likes New York. He said, but I mean, if I still played for the Mets or the Yankees, I'd be like, oh, this is freaking awesome. Like I could block the crazy part out and still focus on, I get to play a kid's game in one of the greatest cities in the world, albeit ran by a lunatic, or I don't know, he's 34 years old. Like I'm 33. I can't imagine being a mayor. And so the lunatic was, of course, Sirhan Mandami.
Mondami, yeah.
Yeah. And he said that he bled orange and blue for 8 years. Expressed disbelief that a 34-year-old with Mandami's resume is running the world's most iconic city. Well, he's like 34 and never really held an actual job beforehand. And it's standard for the Mets. He says the curse appears to be more than just bad luck on the field. The amazing have struggled to justify a massive payroll with little to show for it. And they talked a little bit about describing the history of Mandami. He says, just describing his bent towards communism, globalizing the infidado. Snydergaard said, stop hanging out with socialist mayors, I guess, probably. I hate saying it, but at the end of the day, the Mets are going to Met. I think I'm allowed to kind of say that because I bled orange and blue for 8 years, made it to the World Series with them. Just kind of disappointed to see who they're inviting into the clubhouse, and B, the lack of success they're having. It doesn't make a lot of sense. We have a huge payroll, and it's not creating great dividends for them. Until the Mets stop courting Democrat socialists, they'll probably keep luring in the bad luck like a magnet. In the meantime, Thor will watch and keep taking swings when no one else steps up to the plate. I guess Thor's a player, but
I guess.
But you don't really see baseball players do that kind of stuff, talking about
Is
politics.
he an active baseball player?
He's not in the Mets anymore. Maybe not.
I mean, I'm wondering if he is somewhere else. I mean, it could be in a different club.
Maybe. It doesn't say. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's retired or something.
He could be a commentator or a newscaster.
But he obviously loves New York, and he obviously loves playing Major League Baseball in those areas. And he's disappointed.
Yeah,
he's saddened, and he's blaming it on this socialism viewpoint,
which I thought was interesting.
Even in the clubhouse.
Yeah,
saying we lost a couple conservatives.
Right. Well,
that was a shocking.
If they're playing for the Mets in New York, they're probably fairly well off.
Oh my, yeah.
And so my guess is they looked at the tea leaves and said, with Mandami here, it's time to get out while the getting's good.
Maybe they were,
or maybe it's some other reason. Who knows? It's not clear from what was said.
But he's suggesting that the Mets are having a real change in complexion and supporting the socialism stuff is kind of integrated into the clubhouse.
Yeah, it sounds like what you're saying. And I, you just socialism, like with many things, when you put a lot of politics into the sports, the quality of the sports tend to be reduced.
Well, it's kind of like having a military that's DEI.
In a way, but I'm looking back at like the Olympics with the Soviet Union. They won a lot of medals because they were willing to put so much money into
Winning.
players.
Yeah.
Because they wanted the prestige.
Yes.
And so that might happen. I mean, maybe New York will put lots of money into the Mets because they want prestige.
Doesn't sound like what's going on.
Doesn't sound like it. No.
Put a lot of money in there to get socialists into the clubhouse. According to him, anyway. That's
well,
one viewpoint.
if that's your framework,
then that's what you'll get.
You're promoting politics over merit, and it won't work well.
And Biden worked on putting people in the military that wore dresses and were guys.
Yeah, exactly correct.
And that's what the focus has really changed under Hegseth is Department of War, not the Department of DEI.
I'm in the middle of reading a biography of the man who is now Secretary of the Navy. At least I think that's correct. Hung Cao, C-A-O.
I don't know him.
Yeah, he just recently got promoted to Secretary of the Navy. Amazing. I'm just very much impressed. I mean, while he was full-time officer in the Navy, he also managed to get a master's degree in advanced physics.
Hung Cao, yeah. Acting, he's the acting Secretary of Navy right now.
Okay.
So he's that must mean he's waiting on confirmation.
Probably. I was reading his biography, which is, I think the title is Call Me an American.
Oh. Is he a naturalized citizen?
Let me think. Yes, because he was 4 years old when they fled Vietnam.
Okay.
And his sister had been born in the U.S. It's an amazing story. So I'm all for him being in that position. I think he's well suited to it. And but he was, very young. He wasn't born in the U.S. He was born in Vietnam.
And that's something. He's born in Saigon, it says, and now he's Secretary of the Navy.
Yeah,
that's of the United States.
It's an incredible success story.
Yeah,
and he's just driven. You listen, or I read the book, and it's just so obvious that he was so intensely driven to succeed.
Of course, he came to the United States when he was 4. So
right. But then they went to Africa.
Yeah, that's what it says.
His father got a job through the State Department, probably because of the political connections in part that he had from Vietnam, and also because he spoke fluent French.
Right.
And because he was just a talented person. And he went to grammar school in Africa.
Niger is what it says. And his dad was a specialist for USAID,
right?
Which is weird.
Well, no, I mean, there are a lot of positions like that. It's been that way for a long time.
Yeah.
And USAID, as I've been reading now, was always a way for us to kind of spread money to local politicians without congressional oversight.
Right.
Well, it got crazy under the last couple of presidents, under Biden particularly.
That's why it was pretty much shut down.
Right. And anyway, so he learned, he spoke Vietnamese, but very quickly they went to Africa, and then he learned French.
Uh-huh.
Because that's what was spoken in the local school he went to.
Of course.
And then when he came back to the U.S., he had to get fluent English, and he went back to the U.S. to go to Jefferson
High School.
Yeah. It's in D.C., is that correct?
It says for science and technology in Fairfax County, Virginia, D.C.
Okay,
area.
It's right next to D.C.
Yeah.
And a very famous school that was strictly on merit for a very long time. And he excelled there.
He was a member of the first graduating class.
Ah, yeah, okay.
And they went, well, amazing.
It's just this incredible achievement
but he went to the
high intelligence,
he's a graduate of the Naval Academy in 96.
Yeah, 80. Annapolis.
Yeah.
And he didn't, the first year he flunked out as a plebe. and then he had to reapply.
That's not uncommon.
No, but it's very uncommon to be reaccepted.
There are some. I mean,
there are a small number, and he was so driven.
But a lot of them are immediately flunked out or pushed out and go right into their
enlisted service.
No. Sometimes they'll go right into the school that re-education type stuff. I mean, there's a school available to a prep school.
Yeah. Okay.
That they've gone into.
When you say a lot, though, I think we're talking about tiny percentages.
Probably, but you got to remember, a class has 4,000 people.
Yeah. So when
so they see something in you
said
to keep
that
you.
when he got readmitted, he was the only one that year.
But oh really?
Yeah.
But going to be kicked out as a plebe, you don't have to go into the military. Your commitment comes after 2 years of academy service. After the second year, you sign off that says, "I'm now committed." So if I drop out as a junior, I'm stationed somewhere.
That's the way it is in ROTC. I didn't realize it was that way in the academies.
That's the way it is in academy. I remember with my son.
Well, you have personal knowledge.
Yeah. He had a big decision to make because he hated the academy.
Oh.
Because it was so rough.
So hard, yeah.
Very hard. So he didn't know if he was going to sign up to continue or not.
Uh-huh.
And he never told either one of us, me and my wife,
right.
Like, I just don't know if I'm going back. I'd say every time he came home for vacation, it was really hard for him to get in the car get to the airport to go back.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is. They're extremely difficult.
Yeah.
And I question whether the extreme difficulties that they place on plebes is really worthwhile or necessary.
Here's what he tells me. He says, Air Force Academy is a great place to be from.
Yeah.
He says, and I asked him, I said, well, if you have a son, would you recommend he go? And he sat and he thought, he said, yes.
But I read the now acting Secretary of Navy's experiences, and I go, does this really help prepare him for military service in the plebes, which are harassed incredibly? And I'd say, yeah, probably, because it puts him under such difficult emotional constraint that almost anything less than absolute comment won't shake him.
They give you more to do than what possibly could be done to see how you triage, really.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of books he had to read every week for school, then he's doing intramural sports at the same time.
Right.
His room had to be perfect. There couldn't be a crease in his bed.
Yeah.
There was constant inspections. And in the harassment that you get isn't like harassment by, throwing you in the shower or something. It's harassment by asking you questions military related. There's a book they have to carry that shows the complete history of everything in the Air Force.
Oh.
And then the question is going to come in, well, what year did this person graduate, or some famous general or something like that. So there are so many, and I forget what they call that book, but there's a book that a plebe needs to know inside and out. And any upperclassman can stop up at any time and ask him a question. Like if an upperclassman's having a bad day.
So the people who know about this, they'll have studied that book before they ever go there.
I don't think my son knew about it beforehand.
Yeah, now, I'm saying
he might have because
he had somebody who'd been to the academy or knew about this, that would have been part of the preparation.
And be as physically fit as you can.
Yeah, that's the Hung Kao was intensely physically fit.
Yeah,
because when he went
that way, you can focus on other things versus healing.
Right, exactly.
No,
and so it's an incredibly competitive environment. Now, a lot of that was mitigated during the Biden administration, I believe.
Probably. It probably is back now under Trump and
of course.
Seth. And it was tough for him, my son. It was tough.
I mean, when I think of what I went through in college, it was a cakewalk compared to what these guys.
He never slept in his bed.
Wow.
Because you had to make it.
Oh.
And it wasn't a lot of time in the morning when you got up and everything. You had limited time.
A great solution. I love it.
What most all of them did is a sleeping bag on top of the bed. Like to go to sleep, they'd unroll a sleeping bag.
Yeah.
Get on top of the bed.
But then they just smooth it out in the morning.
Correct. Make sure that it didn't disrupt anything. Now, as an upperclassman, it was relaxed. A lot of that's relaxed.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a
Well,
lot of
and
tricks to get around
there
it.
are similar things that happen for enlisted when they go through basic
Yeah.
or the Marine Corps boot camp.
Right.
You know, they're really hard on people. They're wanting to get people to drop out because those are the people they don't want in the service.
Right. And I said the class was 4,000. That's not true. It's 4,000 total, I think.
Also, about 1,000 or 1,200 in
1,200 is the number, knowing that they have at least a dropout rate of 25%.
Yeah, yeah.
And they pick the best, the brightest, top of classes.
Oh yeah,
They thoroughly go through them.
It's an enormously competitive system just to get in.
Yeah, and then 25% are gone. It's not for me.
Right.
You know, type stuff. You know, maybe they qualify, but who's going to put up with that harassment when I could go to regular school and have a date?
Oh,
Or-
it's huge. It's huge
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
I don't, I mean, I know myself fairly well. I don't think I would have gone. I don't think I would have tried. It was just, I wouldn't have considered it a good cost benefit ratio.
It depends on what you're looking for. I mean, he's doing well,
Well,
now,
exactly.
but it comes and goes. And he was a 5 and dive. 5 and dive means you have a 5-year commitment after you graduate. Now, unless you're a pilot, then it's 7 or something. But it was 5 at the time for him. And he kept saying, I'm 5 and dive, 5 and dive. So 5-year comes up, he's a captain, and he stays.
Yeah.
I was like, what happened? Well, it got pretty good being a captain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now he's, is he a light colonel or?
Like Colonel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And which usually is more than 20 once you make that commitment.
Right. And how many years does he have in now?
He graduated in 08.
So he's got about 18 years and
Yeah. Yeah, he's
he's on track.
He's a veteran.
There's a
I
good
mean,
chance.
I mean, no more.
He has a good chance of making colonel.
Well, that was the only reason he became a
Stayed
light
in
colonel.
for the last time.
Yeah,
or-
light colonel, and that was something that was discussed, I guess, in his that we don't give this to you just as or we don't want you in this role just to be in that role for a short period until your 20s, and we want to see you work to achieve more.
Now, my statistics are probably old.
Yeah,
Okay, but it used to be that if you worked hard and did a pretty good job, you could be fairly certain you could make light colonel. It was like 70% or so.
oh, I don't know. That sounds a lot.
But for colonel, it really dropped off to like
does.
about 50-40%. And
And-
then to general, it drops huge
Right.
drop off. I mean, it's like 2 or 3%, something like that.
Yeah, it is a huge drop to colonel, and but that's the goal, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is 50-year-old, stuff I'm talking about. But at that time, the thought was, if you were diligent, you should be able to go make lieutenant colonel. You had to get above that to make colonel, and you had to be extraordinarily above that to make general.
Yes, and it's a pretty small amount. A bigger percentage of academy grads make it.
Oh yeah, they've got a definite, but they went through. One of the reasons is they went through 4 years of academy, and that counts for seniority too.
Yeah.
Does that 4 years count for retirement?
No.
I'm not sure,
No,
but it counts for seniority. I remember that.
it counts for something, but not towards retirement or anything, because he's not real military.
Yeah, well, maybe I'm trying to. I'm not. There might even be a differentiation between the first 2 years and the last 2 years.
They say lieutenant colonel to colonel in the Air Force falls somewhere around 45-50%.
That sounds about right.
Okay, I thought it was lower than that.
How about colonel to general? I bet you that's only about less than 5%. I'm thinking.
Yeah, they don't.
Because that's it, in official military parlance, it's from an E6 to an E7. E6 is equivalent to colonel, and E7 would be a brigadier general. In the Army and the Marine Corps, the Air Force, I think the same, but the Navy has a different nomenclature for those ranks. I think captain in the Navy is an E6, 06, excuse me.
Approximately 5% of the colonels
Aha!
will make it to a brigadier general.
Aha! I think I was right on the money.
Only a small fraction reach the general officer ranks. Roughly
Yeah.
171 active duty general officers position currently authorized in the Air Force.
Well, wait a minute. That's general or 4-star general, all inclusive. Brigadiers are much more common than 2 stars.
Oh, yeah.
And so on.
Yeah.
But only 176 generals
Total
from brigadier on up.
You
Wow.
wouldn't know that at the Air Force Academy because, and I.
Oh, that's Air Force.
Yeah, it's just Air Force.
Okay, because you have more in the Army and you have some, not very many in the Marine Corps, and you certainly have a significant number of 06s and 07s in the Navy.
But the Academy
and the Coast Guard too.
And I visited the Academy many times with my son there. We go to open house. We'd be up there all the time. That they had opportunities. Sometimes you couldn't even visit, but
right.
Opportunities. We go up there, and you can't walk around a corner without bumping into a general. It's just they're everywhere.
I spent, I think it was 2 weeks in the Pentagon on an assignment one time,
right?
And I was a lieutenant. I don't recall. I think I saw one other lieutenant very briefly the whole time. Lieutenants were scarce. Nobody was a lieutenant in there at the Pentagon. I mean, colonels were a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
Some generals made coffee. I mean, it's just crazy.
The percentage of the percentage of officers that make lieutenant colonel is only 4.6%.
Only 4 points. Well, there's a lot of reserve officers.
Only 4%. The percentage, we're not talking
light colonel.
Yeah,
that seems
so. I mean, I get you come in as lieutenant.
Yeah. So how many make major? That's usually considered
14%.
Oh man. Well, I think what we're seeing there is there are a lot of people that come in and are not career.
Correct.
They're reserve officers like me. I mean, the highest rank I ever attained was captain.
Yeah.
But I wasn't in for a career. I was only in for really one tour and then some reserve assignments.
Only 32% make captain, and captain's kind of automatic.
Unless you screw up.
And then you're gone. Yeah, exactly.
And they're also captain will usually take more than one tour, which is one of the reasons we're seeing that.
Yeah.
So when I'm talking about most people can make major, that is if they are career. It's not people who are in like me for one tour.
Wow.
I was on a little more than a tour because I extended because I kind of liked the job I was doing, which was in charge of a meteorology team.
Yeah. Amazing small amount make it to those higher grades, like general.
Yeah. That's, okay. Right.
And I imagine that you got to be somewhat political. You got to I would imagine
you got to be dedicated. I knew quite a few officers because of my long association with the military. And a small unit command, any commander, is enormously difficult, time-consuming job. You have to be super dedicated, and you put in amazing hours. It's just incredible how much time you put in.
Right, and I don't think it's not. I don't think I've never heard my son even mention general at all. Never. I think it would be arrogant to do so, but he said.
Well, he's got a shot if that's what he wants.
I don't know.
I don't
know.
I think he's got a very good chance of making colonel, but above that, it's a big cut.
Well, I was talking to my ex-wife the other day, and she said something. And she talked to Robert, and he says he's getting out in 2 years. I said, "What are you talking about?" I mean, colonel's what he wants to be. He said, "Well, it changes depending on the day."
Well, that's understandable.
Yeah, depending on the day.
I came very close to committing to a career in the military because I liked it. I mean, I thought I did a good job, and I kind of liked it, but I wasn't willing to put in the dedicated time And one of the things that happened, I mean, just personally, was back then I would have had to take an unaccompanied tour to Korea as my next tour. I didn't think my marriage would survive. So that was one of the reasons I didn't commit
Yeah.
to a greater tour.
That's part of the military life.
It is.
And
there's a much higher divorce rate among military than non-military.
I'm an Air Force brat. I remember my dad having to be gone for a year at a time. He went to Greenland, believe it or not.
Fascinating. Yeah, cool.
He was in Thule.
Which is now renamed some unpronounceable Inuit name.
Yeah, that's great when they do that because all of us freeze, like try to stumble through it.
Well, I mean, I know that it's been changed, but I don't remember the new name.
Food stamp programs, that they've been under fire.
For good reason.
Which we found out there were 42 million people on food stamps, and I was like, how many? It just seemed awfully high. But any of those social programs,
well, you give things away.
They want to grow.
Oh, of course.
They're looking for more people to put on.
Yeah, because that helps the bureaucracy.
Yeah.
I mean, the first duty of a bureaucracy in bureaucrats' mind
Spend all
is
your money.
to get bigger.
Yeah, get bigger. They just arrested another person in Minnesota. Now, Minnesota is not a surprise to you. Like, Minnesota with fraud? No, of course. They seem to be like a fraud capital right now.
It's becoming synonymous.
Some guy with a name I can't pronounce, last name Muhammad, is the owner of a Minnesota Food Grocery LLC. What he's alleged of doing, and they say he potentially defrauded taxpayers out of $1 million, one guy. He was using EBT cards registered to other people to buy items at Sam's Club and Costco.
And then resell them?
And then resell them in his store.
Well.
And authorities, and this was in 21, this was before we knew that they were the capital of fraud.
Yeah.
And now, how could it take so long that they followed this guy around in 21 and now he's being arrested?
Well, because the leadership inside Minnesota didn't want to be called racist.
Maybe. Because he is Somalian. And they observed Muhammad making purchases and followed him back to the store with the goods. Surveillance footage and GPS data backed up the allegations, while investigators know that many of the EBT cardholders are either out of the country or they never shopped at the store he used ever.
Right.
So somehow he got these cards. It's a federal program, of course. It's made by taxpayers even outside Minnesota.
Right.
Nice.
So if you're a Minnesota Democrat, it's not costing you any money.
Yeah. So why would the governor care? Now, he received $1,141,082 in EBT payments, according to
over how long a period of time?
Says 21, since 21.
So about 5 years.
Yeah.
Well, gee, that's only $200,000 a year.
The plan involved a high degree of sophistication or planning or occurred over a lengthy period of time. He faces up to 20 years in prison or a $100,000 fine. If you've got $1 million, just pay the $100,000 fine. And you still netted, he netted $1 million because he took $1.1 million.
Yeah, but it's over 5 years. He's got living expenses. He's got to pay for the Jaguar, all that other stuff. I mean, he probably doesn't have a huge amount of cash. What does
because
most of it's parked in Mogadishu.
Sell one of them. What does bananas and rice really cost anyway?
Well, I don't know in this case, but probably they were not necessarily selling bananas and rice.
The Republican that's running for Congress against Representative Ilhan Omar said, Minneapolis didn't become America's fraud capital by accident. It was earned. This week, it's a grocer charged with running up $1.1 million in charges on other people's EBT cards. Next week, it'll be something else. But the bill always lands on the Minnesotans who actually pay taxes.
Well, yes, and the rest of us.
Well, yeah.
It was a federal program.
We're all kicking in. Families tell her affordability is what keeps them up at night. And the cruel joke is that the money is here to really make difference for people. It is just lining the wrong pockets and paying for luxury cars and houses on the other side of the world. The fraudsters are only half the story.
Yeah.
The other half are the people administering these programs from the front lines all the way up to Ilhan Omar, Attorney General Keith Ellison, and Governor Tim Walz.
But I would say there's a third half to make a point, and that's all the people who don't get benefits because these guys are stealing the money.
Well, and I think as what he's talking about is that there's people that really need the help.
Yeah.
And the cruel joke is the money's being paid. It's just going to the wrong people.
Right.
So Republican lawmakers said, net Senator Mark Corrin, a Republican state senator, said the situation is yet another example of why Minnesota is a target number one for fraudsters. And he's a state senator in that state. So Mark, what are you doing about it?
Well, he's probably in the minority.
Yeah, he's a Republican.
Now, Minnesota, it's a divided legislature. I think one house, it's a tie, literally a tie between Republican and the other house. It's a very, very close, with a couple of seats only.
So I guess you just let the Somalians run it.
No, what I'm saying is that I know the Republicans there have some successes, but the governor is Democrat, and I think the attorney general is Democrat.
Yeah, very much so, very radical.
Right. That's Mark
Keith
Elias,
Ellison.
isn't it?
Keith Ellison.
Keith, that's it. Sorry. Began with an E, forgive me.
Yeah.
And they're very far left.
Big time progressives.
The administration then is going to be very far left because it's dominated by leftists.
This state senator says the sheer volume of welfare programs combined with the inability of state agencies to detect obvious fraud is alarming. Once again, it is a private retailer, not the state, that uncovered this fraud scheme, which I didn't even know that. Now, look, he is complaining about state agencies that he's got direct oversight for. He's a state senator.
Yeah, but I think it's a misnomer. It's like claiming the U.S. government, Congress has direct oversight over all the bureaucracies.
They have investigative oversight. They do.
They do, but they have not used it a whole lot.
And here we got a senator that is saying they know this fraud's there. They know it's not being taken care of.
But my
question is, what are you doing about it, Mark?
In Minneapolis, we have all these, and he's acting like a whistleblower is what it sounds to me. There's all these whistleblowers who tried to get action, and then the bureaucracy shut them down.
Shut them down. In fact, the whistleblower that Shirley finally ended up with is the one that fed him all the information, and Shirley did something with it.
Right. Exactly.
Brilliantly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was well done.
23-year-old kid.
Well, I see the same thing kind of with Trump. I'm not saying Trump is a 23-year-old kid, but most of what Trump has pushed is not hard to understand.
No, it's not.
It's basic common sense and logic. But that basic common sense and logic ran against the narrative of the Democrat leftist deep state machine, whatever you want to call it. So they ignored it.
Yeah. I think there needs to be an overhaul in Minnesota of the agencies that have oversight over all this stuff.
Yeah, I think that's clearly correct.
I said early on, these bureaucracies all want to grow. These bureaucracies all want to succeed. They want to give away as much as possible. We need some people in there that are going to protect the taxpayers.
100% agree. And
from fraud.
Yes, and it's for the bureaucracies. It's painful.
Yeah,
but that they work for us. We don't work for them. So if we have to fire a bunch of them in order to get the bureaucracies in line, that's what we have to do. And that's what President Trump is doing.
This Mark Corrin also says all individuals involved, including the people that sold their EBT cards to Mohammed, have to be fully prosecuted. Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
So it looks like Mohammed bought these cards as an investment.
Oh, it makes sense. Makes perfect sense. I mean, from a criminal standpoint, from somebody who wants to make money off the system, and it looks like very low risk because nobody's prosecuting you.
Right.
Nobody's coming after you. You're acting almost out in the open, and you're bringing in a real nice income, probably a couple $100,000 a year. I mean, he has to buy this stuff. It's on an EBT card, so it costs him nothing.
Yeah.
And then he probably sells it at a discount.
Makes great profit.
So he's doing well, but I'm guessing he probably didn't net more than $150,000 a year.
Now, this article says that the massive fraud scandal unfolding in Minnesota with social service programs, particularly with Somali community. Now, isn't that racist to say that?
No.
Just descriptive?
It's accurate.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to make a change in my estimate.
What?
I said 150,000 a year. That's 150,000 a year through fraud.
Right.
But he was also being paid a salary.
Sure.
that came from the same money source,
Right.
because somebody has to administer the program. So I bet you he was being paid over $100,000 a year in salary.
Well, Snap needs a lot of work.
Oh, huge.
And I know Trump is doing it. He's shut down Minnesota for a while on a lot of social programs till they could show some.
It's amazing what he's done in a little over a year.
Yeah.
But we have to keep at it. There's a lot yet.
And of course, Waltz jumps to the social media and to the news crews and says, he's starving kids. Trump is. He's cutting off kids and stuff, you know. And
Yeah.
just do your job, Waltz, and none of this would have happened.
Right.
In New Hampshire, at Planet Fitness, a lady named Judy Walcott had the audacity to complain about men in the ladies' changing area and shower area. And Judy said, I was shaking like I was actually trembling because it freaked me out that bad. Went to the front desk where a young employee at the front desk and told her, look, there's, about the whole story. And the lady at the front desk says there's nothing the staff could do because it's company policy.
Oh, doesn't sound like a good policy for maintaining clientele.
Well, it's a company policy, and the employees do not check the locker room. And she never did check it. 4 days later, she went to another staff member. And the employee called her transphobic. She showed concern until I started telling her that there was a creepy guy in the ladies' shower on Saturday. Nobody checked him out. Then before I could say anything else, she interrupted me, telling me she thought she knew who I meant and what a wonderful woman that is. And then it went downhill. The staff member did not address her concerns, instead repeatedly called her transphobic and then walked away. A couple hours later, the gym manager called her, told her that her membership had been canceled for a policy violation. I asked, what policy did I violate? I didn't violate a policy. I asked, and she didn't answer me. So she checked her account and indeed had been charged for another month. They charged her for another month and said, and then she found a member cancellation or freeze form on her account, which she didn't sign, but it was signed by her, but she didn't sign it.
Oh, wow. That's fraud right there.
And it was dated April 15th. And the requested effective date to cancel her membership was May 16th. Right? So that's why she was charged another month.
Yeah.
And so she looked at that and thought, and in the comment field, it says non-discrimination trans. Somebody wrote that on the form.
Okay.
So she says, she said she believes her signature's forged. I hope she would remember her. So she knew she only had an additional month anyway. So she decided to go back to the gym on April 17th to use the remainder of her membership since she got charged again.
Right.
So she's not too much of a complainer. I mean, most people would demand their money back. But the manager there told her membership's been canceled, I guess, when you check in.
Yeah, but you're paying.
Doesn't matter. They said she had to leave. She asked whether she was owed a refund. The manager said she was not getting a refund and called the police.
Wow. Oh, I think that was the wrong move on the manager's part.
No, she was given a warning by the police not to trespass.
But they're going to charge her for that month.
That's a civil matter. The police aren't going to get involved.
Yeah, it's a contractual matter. Yeah. I mean, I think there's fraud involved, very possibly.
So Walcott obviously goes to the news and tells everybody, and she says, look, talking about Planet Fitness, she says, so she takes a form, signs my name, charges me money, extends my membership, and then calls the cops on me. Like, what the hell? I feel like I've lived in an upside down land.
Yeah.
And then I was ordered to stay off the property. She says, what does it take? Are we being sacrificed in the name of inclusion? Planet Fitness says on the website that members who identify as transgender may use Planet Fitness locker room facilities, bathrooms, showers, and all other facilities programs separated on sex based on their self-reported gender identity.
Okay, so this was not a local decision.
Well, this is on their website. This is who they are.
Yeah.
So it is a company policy.
Right. And Planet Fitness is a huge chain, isn't it?
Nationwide.
Yeah.
Big.
So they're going to get smaller.
These facilities include bathrooms, showers, and all other facilities separated by sex. Whenever possible, Planet Fitness clubs should maintain private changing areas when possible in each locker room for the comfort of all members and team members. It aims to provide an inclusive gym environment, unless you're straight. No, it doesn't say that. It says where members feel like they belong. Well, does Miss Walcott feel like belong? I don't think she went into the shower wanting to see a penis.
Yeah.
You know, she didn't want to see that. And Planet Fitness says, you transphobe. Get out of here. And we're going to charge you extra and forge your name. Wow.
Well, I think the problem is, will anybody in her jurisdiction investigate? And the answer, I think, is probably not.
Why would you want to? I mean, all of a sudden, you're going to be a transphobe.
Yeah.
You know,
And a civil suit would be expensive. And then what are you going to gain? $100 for a 1 month fee?
10, 20.
Yeah. So it's the cost of litigation overwhelms the potential settlement. And so, but what she has done, which is clever, she's made this a national issue. So she is extracting her pound of flesh through the national media.
Well, it's going to cost them more than $10 if they'd have just given it back.
Right.
You know?
It's silly for them not to.
Yeah, but they want to show who they are, man.
I guess.
We're so
Now I'm going to
pro-trans.
put my skeptical hat on again because this is her account. We might want to hear the other side.
I agree with some skepticism, other than there's a police report and they checked it. Whoever
Right.
did this article.
So we have some documentation here.
And she went very public. And if she's lying,
Yeah, they haven't refuted her.
yeah, I would refute her immediately.
Yeah, right.
Saying,
If she was lying.
Saying, oh, hell no. And Planet Fitness did not comment.
Yeah. So that's not a smart move on their part, no matter what the circumstances.
Yeah. I got a note from Edward Garrity, says he might have to move to Yuma, which I don't believe he will, but my fact checker. It's a note that comes from the Democratic Defense Fund and wants donations. He said this is a mass text or something that goes out. Friends, the situation has become urgent. Trump's reckless war with Iran has left America dangerously exposed. With reports of ships lost, personal casualties, and a military stretch far beyond what the public has been told. Now, after weakening our defenses, Trump has reportedly turned to China and begged Xi Jinping for help defending the United States homeland. That alone should alarm every American. Democrats are fighting to prevent the loss of American strength, security, and sovereignty. But we cannot do it alone. We need your assistance today. Please stand with us as we work to defend the country, demand accountability, and protect America from consequences of Trump's disastrous decisions. Every contribution helps us fight back. Donate now to defend America. Thank you, the Democratic Defense Fund.
What a perfect example of how can we fool them today?
Gosh, I didn't know he was begging.
Everything in there is demonstrably false.
He's begging China for defending him to please help us defend America.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow, terrible.
It's if you live in an information bubble with this, which is some sort of integrated worldview that's mostly false, that's what you get out.
Well, what's not false is there have been reports of ships lost, and those reports are made by Iran that said they sunk the Lincoln twice.
Yes, so I'm saying that's pretty false.
Yeah.
Now, I don't recall any American ship being lost, but maybe there was a commercial vessel. I don't know.
It just says ships lost, right? It doesn't say.
But the ships lost have almost all been Iranian.
Yeah, of course. Personnel casualties. There have been some deaths.
There have been
from attacks in
I think
Kuwait.
Total casualty count somewhere around
13.
20.
I don't think it was 20. Is it 13?
It's right around that. Well, when I say casualty, that includes wounded.
And casualties also include the accident.
Right.
There was an accident of a military plane or something.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Casualties
it had nothing to do with
I would
kinetic
say that
energy fire.
if you did the math, you'd find the casualty of this operation is roughly about the same, maybe a little less, of a training exercise of the same size.
Yeah. And he says he may need to move to Yuma to escape the Iranians.
Okay, now we get it.
Like they may be attacking the East Coast.
Well, we're not
Yeah.
very far from the Gulf of California here. The Iranian Navy could steam
Yeah.
up in the Gulf.
I don't
of
think this would be their.
California.
I don't
They'd
think.
be only within less than 100 miles of Yuma.
I don't think we'd be the high priority target.
I don't know. We got the Marine Corps Air Station here. We got YPG.
That's the reason we're not a high priority target.
Well, I am impressed. I've been impressed with the show of military force of the training exercise going on here at MCAS.
I'm always impressed with it. They do it all the time.
It's not all. There's intensification up
Really?
and down.
The WTI has always been fun.
Oh yeah, and it's just huge. I mean,
Fun to watch. What little we see, I mean, a lot of it's happening within 100 miles around us.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Which is always fun to watch.
But these incredibly high performance aircraft, just at a high operating tempo at MCS, it's just amazing.
You heard the FA-18s are being retired, right?
No.
Yeah, those they're going away by 2030. That's quick. I mean, they've been phasing them out.
Yeah.
Been replacing them with the F-35s,
It's
but
4 years from
they're
now.
gonna make the whole transition and get that one going. So we see those in Yuma. Well, they're not stationed here, but
Yeah.
they do come here for training.
We have some. Don't we have some of the Israelis? Mirrors or something they're called. I forget the name.
I've seen them here. I don't know who
They
owns
use
them.
them in the. They use them like adversary.
Yeah.
OPFOR.
They use some
opposition force in the training exercise.
Yeah, don't they use some Russia MiGs too, or something? At times?
I think you may be right. I know they also at times have used the BD-5s.
Yeah.
With tiny little aircraft, very little signature to them, and they can fly really low. They're not super fast, but highly maneuverable.
Yeah, you put the right pilot in it that can trick everybody because he knows how they look for things.
Yeah. And then, of course, all the choppers and the V-22s.
There was a lot of those here recently.
I saw a lot of them. I said, wow,
Those
I
are
don't think I've ever seen so many all together, but at a different WTI, I think I may have.
And those are the Ospreys, well, mostly what we recognize.
I mean, I watch them and I think, yeah, to stop the car and get some video of this.
And those fleets have been increasing.
Yes.
My son has personally set up 2 squadrons, one in England and one in Japan for the Air Force on the V-22s.
Well, they're very high level. They do things that no fixed wing or helicopter can do.
Well,
they bridge that.
Yeah.
And so they're faster than most helicopters.
Well, that's the thing with a helicopter. If they've got long distance, they're just not fast.
Right.
These things are faster than the.
Yeah, I think it's. I'm trying to think like extra 70 or so miles per hour, or something like that.
It's more than that, I think. But
okay,
I don't know. I'd have to take a look because the blades just go forward and starts flying like a helicopter. I mean, like an airplane.
The problem with a helicopter, because the blades are on a nearly vertical axis.
Right.
So speed is added and subtracted from the blades as they're going forward with the plane, with the aircraft or behind it, and that creates a serious problem for lift.
Yeah, the V-22 just does away with that. It just
exactly. So that's one of the reasons it can go so fast.
And it's a heavy hauler.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah. But it does put up a heck of a ground wash when it lands.
Yeah, my son is wasn't a big fan, even though he set up 2 of them. He says, "Man, they're just so expensive to maintain and everything.
Right,
expensive. But if you need it, They can.
Well, it gives capacity you don't have otherwise.
I don't know how much. What it can carry, like 20 troops or something.
A significant number.
That's a lot. You get about 3 of those show up. You got to.
Well, it is, and you can do it faster than any other system.
Right.
And you can extract just as fast.
Formidable. Graham Plattner, you remember hearing his name recently?
Yes.
I think he's the Democrat.
Maine, I think.
In Maine, yeah, and he's running against Susan Collins.
Right.
And he's the Democrat. And what a character. I mean,
he is
in a negative standpoint.
Well,
but he's the darling now.
Yeah.
He's the progressive darling. They love him, even with his Nazi tattoos.
Yeah.
Or tattoo. There's only one tattoo.
One, right.
And
you know,
and he's such a dislikable guy for me. He's a combat veteran.
yeah,
He's been deployed, and thank you for your service and all that stuff.
correct.
He made a lot of social media entries years ago that have been deleted but have been found.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Well, you put it on the internet, it's forever.
It's forever. Now, 5 years before he, became the politician, he criticized a report in the Portland Press Herald about 2 former police officers who admitted to killing porcupines with their batons while on duty. And he's a Marine veteran. This
Okay.
Graham Plattner. He was in Afghanistan and all that stuff.
So
He says, these cops they were Marine veterans, and
Okay.
And they attributed their less than brilliant activity to PTSD they received from overseas deployments, everything.
well.
So Plattner writes on social media, "Don't buy into that BS. I did 4 tours in the infantry to Iraq and Afghanistan, saw all kinds of awful things, have a PTS diagnosis, and still managed not to beat defenseless animals to death for fun."
His characterization, I kind of doubt. Porcupines are very destructive pests.
Are they? Well, and Plattner, it was a Marine and an Army veteran and an oyster farmer. He says that's just cops giving excuses for their garbage behavior, which is fun to know because
it's not going to be very popular with people who support the police.
No, and he deleted these months prior to launching his state Senate campaign.
Okay, but as we just stated, the internet's forever.
Right now, he's making statements now because of his bad behavior. Because he's had some bad behavior, like Nazi tattoos and attacking. Right. There's a lot more stuff that he's done. But he's blaming his offensive remarks on PTSD he developed over multiple overseas deployments.
But at the time he said, "Don't buy into that PTSD stuff."
Yeah, but except for me. He said statements are not representative of who I am today and stuff.
Stop digging.
Yeah. Because he was having a very difficult time settling into a society that he felt betrayed by and left behind by after having a fight in Iraq and Afghanistan. This was a time in my life where I was struggling deeply. I got out of the Army in 2012. I had PTSD, I had depression, I had all the things that come with serving in a war, 2 wars, that I eventually began to not believe it at all. It left me feeling very unmoored. And it left me feeling very delusional, very alienated, very isolated. And I think a lot of people, I went onto the internet to post stupid things and get into fights and find some form of community in some way, some outlet for my feelings in 2013.
Well, this fits as a Democratic candidate. He's a victim.
Yeah, of course. And he's been writing things like, let me see. He wrote, "Rape is a real thing. If you're worried about it, go buy Kevlar underwear. You'd think you might not get blacked out, messed up in front of people you're uncomfortable with." Very sensitive guy. I mean, he's going to get the woman vote.
Well,
I'm sure,
yeah.
But he had PTSD, so he's okay. And
great. I have to
and
remember
then
that.
in 2018, he justified political violence to achieve economic justice in a deleted post.
Well, that'll make him popular with today's Democrats. So,
and now he's writing PTSD is not a shield of bad behavior, but of course he's saying all his stuff.
Right.
2020, more recently, 8 years out, white people living in rural America are actually racist and stupid, and that law enforcement officers are bastards.
So that's only 6 years ago.
Yeah. But now he's a cleaned up politician.
Well,
and he covered up his tattoo.
What it tells me is that he's not all that smart.
He also wrote as he got older, he became a communist.
That's opposite of what usually happens. So he's saying that, he's gone retrograde, I guess.
And his tattoo's not his fault, Again, he's a victim because he went out with fellow Marines. And
he was drunk and he didn't know what it meant.
He was drinking. It was in 2007. Didn't know it was a Nazi tattoo. The skull and crossbones meant something else.
Well, that may all be true.
I don't know.
I find it unlikely that this guy would knowingly put a Nazi symbol on his flesh.
People do it.
Yeah, they do all kinds of stupid
Yeah.
things.
He also was interviewed Monday, said he would not support Schumer, remaining Democratic leader.
Fascinating.
Now, Schumer has been working against him, and he supported his Democrat candidate, who is now dropped out, and that's Janet Mills.
Well, isn't that interesting?
Yeah. And Janet Mills was spotlighting Plattner's comments about women and stuff, and about rape, and during her advertising. And she was backed by Schumer. Now, Plattner said the Democratic establishment tried to use all these attacks against me and failed miserably. Now, the Republican establishment is going to try to use the exact same attacks, and that will also fail miserably.
Well, I disagree. The general electorate is a lot different than the Democratic primary electorate.
What little I've seen about this guy is
he doesn't seem all that smart.
Now, how is it that the Democrat that calls Trump a Nazi because they think that's the worst form of human being? It's okay if it's a Democrat with a
Well, exactly. No, this is perfectly rational to me, because it's all part of the free speech for me, and free speech for you means you agree with me. If you don't agree with me, you can't do it. It's the ends justify the means.
I may not be correct in this, but to my knowledge, Trump has no Nazi tattoos.
No, I don't believe so either. But it's not rational. It's Machiavellian.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. Governor Abbott is getting into the swing of things, going after billionaires and stuff.
What?
Yeah, going after them. I mean, going after them to recruit them to come to Texas.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense.
I guess it's a different going after than what Mandani's doing.
Yeah. Well, if I were California, billionaire, and I think several have taken the step and moved to Texas.
Yeah.
Some have gone to Florida, I understand.
The governor's press secretary, Andrew, says Governor Abbott is proud to welcome businesses and job creators from across the country to Texas, where we have no state tax, reasonable state income tax, reasonable regulations, and pro-growth environment that encourages free enterprise to flourish. And Abbott's business philosophy at punitive policies that target successful job creating entrepreneurs only accelerate the trend of companies choosing Texas.
Yeah. Gee, I believe Elon Musk moved his headquarters to Austin, correct?
Yeah. And most of his operations now.
Right.
And that's
so
Tesla.
This kind of makes sense for me, because there's no state income tax there.
Correct. A higher property tax, which is a kind of a trade-off a little bit.
Musk doesn't have a residence, as I recall.
I bet he does now.
Well, maybe, or maybe he's got a bunch of little places, but
probably spends as much time in a plane as he does on the ground.
Well, I've heard he also spends a fair amount of time with his latest significant other, in that they own a residence, maybe.
Who knows? I mean, he probably has, places that he can crash.
I'm sure. And he has a significant security team too.
He's also in China right now with Trump.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, he has a significant, Tesla has a significant operation in China. It's a very popular electric car in China.
Yeah. They've got one of those mega factories there. I mean, he built a mega factory there. So he's going to be with Trump when he goes sees Chase. Say, hey, old buddy.
Yeah. It's interesting.
It is.
When you consider that Musk, his enterprises bring in more than probably a third of the countries in the world each.
Yep.
In terms of income, gross national product. What's gross Musk product? I mean, maybe if we were going to coin a phrase,
probably most in more small countries.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
This Andrew that works for Abbott's office says. More businesses are sure to follow and all that. Well, wait a minute. This is about Dell Technologies. I forgot to mention that. Just last week, Dell Technologies had a unanimous decision by its board to change the company's legal home from Delaware to Texas.
Yeah, because Delaware has started to become less friendly.
Well, Biden lives there on the beach.
Well, but he pandered to a lot of businesses. Delaware became I don't know if the word notorious, became famous for being a good place to incorporate.
#1 in the country for a long time. I don't know if they still are.
But I think that's changing.
So Abbott went on X and says, "Welcome home, Dell." And that is what happens when job creators and innovators are welcome, not punished. More businesses are sure to follow. Signals rising living standards, a stronger tax base, and greater leverage to fund infrastructure, education, and other priorities without raising taxes. And as the results are reflected in the data, because Texas economic output per person jumped more than 10% from 21 to 24. That's significant.
That's huge.
And at the same time, liberal states like California saw far smaller gains. I wouldn't be surprised if they even took a step back.
Very possible. And think about that. So it's 20 to 24. That's when we had that high inflation too.
Yeah. 10%.
Well, I'm saying we had monetary inflation
Yeah.
in that period.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
So you would expect output
to
in
increase.
dollars to
Right.
go up.
Yeah, because the same products are worth more. Right.
Well, the prices increase.
Yeah, price increase.
The monetary value has gone up. Doesn't mean necessarily the product value went up.
Mandani has been stepping in it totally, but he acts confident like he's on the right track. He's done everything properly.
I think he's done that his whole life, you know.
And, he recently, attacked billionaire King Griffin, not directly, but went to his house and did a video saying, here's the culprit, these outrageous houses, and we need to tax them more money.
Oh, man, that's dumb.
And King
I
Griffin.
think that's dumb, but maybe it's Machiavelli. Maybe he thinks it makes him popular with his base.
Yeah, but that's not going to be any good if you can't afford to feed yourself. He's the owner of Citadel, one of the world's most powerful hedge funds. And that video went out on April 15th. And Griffin paid $238 million for that Manhattan penthouse.
Bet you maybe it'll go on sale pretty soon.
Yeah, and he's also making huge investments in New York right now. Supposedly, he's got them on the books, and it's worth more than $5 million in New York City. This non-primary, it's just a non-primary residence place he can go and crash when
I
he's in
thought
New York.
you said 238 million.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Non-primary. Oh, the taxes are going on everything over $5 million. I'm sorry.
$5 million in
I'm sorry.
taxes. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah. Non-primary residents worth more than $5 million get heavily taxed, and his is worth $238 million.
Yeah, well,
Good Lord.
Yeah,
I
a
don't know
couple
what that-
million in taxes here, a couple million in taxes
gonna
there.
add
It
up,
starts
isn't it?
adding up. Yeah.
Griffin commented on the video. He says it's creepy and weird.
I like it. Yeah, good way to characterize it.
He said the Citadel is reassessing its planned $6 billion Manhattan office tower, continuing to expand in the red state of Florida, which he called unquestionably the right choice.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah. He moved his headquarters from Chicago to Miami in 2022, along with all the people.
Oh, well, that's not a good indicator for New York.
No. So New York hits him with a tax on an apartment that he uses occasionally and paid $238 million for. It's just and then highlights it on the air. Like, look what a big guy I am. I'm going after a guy that can afford a penthouse like this.
I don't think it's a smart move for Mandami. I mean, it may give him short-term political gain, but long-term, it's not good.
He's in trouble, but we're not. Other than we're out of time.
We are.
It's time to go. Thanks so much for listening. Dean and I will be back next week. I'll be back tomorrow.
Very good.
This is Mortgage One Studio, Russ Clark.